know. I didn't realize I was live. Sorry.
What's up, guys? Alright, check this out. This is not weird. Yeah. Tilt you up a little bit. Okay. What's up, everybody? Let's people get in here. Let's do this. Yeah. They got tours. The next tour's at 3:30, which is in a few minutes. I don't know how many people actually come here. This place is crazy. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Supreme Council, 33 Degrees, museum/library. Every U is written with a V. I'll zoom in and show you guys around in a second. You can see this little psychopath over here. That's on both sides. So we're gonna see if this works. We got a new PA system. It was pretty expensive, but I just sucked it up and do it. What's good, Austin? What's up, bro? I'm about to mod you up, bro. Jose, you're a mod. Just don't abuse your powers, homie. That dial-up modem's on point. Yeah. People walk by this and have no idea like what this means at all. It's hilarious. All right, see how it works. I'm sorry about the traffic. I'll be on the PA system, so.
In a world. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, so obviously the things I say will be based on who walks by. What up, Friday Saints? Look at this psychopathic building. There's nothing weird about this at all. What's up with all the Egyptian mythology out around there? Oh man, no big deal. Just Egyptian symbology out here. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Supreme Council, 33 degrees. Conveniently enough, what's a compass do? It goes to 32. Where's the 33rd? Oh, it looks like they hide the center of the earth. That's right, you're not legally allowed to travel within 500 miles of each direction of the center of the earth. And no, that's not a magic ball of magma. Okay, the earth is not a spinning vacuum. This defies physics. But what's funny is you think I'm crazy for not thinking the earth's a ball. But these people know the earth's not a ball. I've read a lot of their literature. They say the earth isn't a ball. Isn't that funny? So what happens is, and I'll give you a tour of Freemasonry, free of charge, don't worry, you don't gotta pay me. You also don't have to wear oxygen prohibitors or inhibitors. So, to be a Freemason, you have to be accepted. They let a lot of people be Freemasons though, they just don't know what they're doing. That's how they have a cover. Now, in order for you to get up to the 33rd degree, as you see, Supreme Council, 33rd degree, you actually have to be voted on and allowed to be in the 33rd degree. They don't tell you all the secrets though, they just give you access to the library, and it's effectively an IQ test, and they just want to see if you can figure it out. Most of the Masons don't even go to the library. But don't worry, I'll let you know what's in their library. I read a lot of it. According to Freemasonry, they are the collective Lucifer. This is an intellect and reason embodied and represented by the sun of enlightenment. They're sun worshipers. Now, if you read their literature, they know the earth doesn't move. Isn't that interesting? Because they tell us that we're spinning around the sun 66,600 miles per hour. 666, that's a coincidence. We're also on a 66.6 degree tilt according to them. Another 666, that's a coincidence. But if you actually read the Freemasonic literature, they say the earth is geocentric. That means the center of everything. Stationary, of course, meaning it doesn't move. And a plane, which means that it's flat. It's a topographical plane. The earth is provably flat. So people that walk by, they're gonna act like I'm crazy because I don't believe the earth's a ball. But the people that built this little psychopathic pagan building, they know what the earth is. Of course, again, that's if you actually get to the 33rd degree. So we're gonna talk about the earth for a second, and then I'm gonna talk about how it ties into this creepy little building you guys walk by every day, and I guess you don't know what it means. Yeah. People don't really just invest millions of dollars into building psychopathic Egyptian mythology and symbology and statues for no reason. They actually worship the same thing the Egyptians did. But before I get ahead of myself, we're gonna talk about the earth. All right, so they say the earth is a spinning ball in a vacuum. It has a circumference of 24,901 miles, a radius value of 3,959 miles. It's spinning 1,040 miles per hour east of the equator. So when you see the sun move away from you in the sky, and it sets eventually where you can't see it. They say it just looks like that. It's actually sitting still. You're just falling backwards 1,000 miles an hour. What a cool story. That seems legit. I thought I was the crazy one. Okay, now, again, according to the Masons, they know what the Earth is. You can't be a 33rd degree Mason if you don't know the Earth is flat. Isn't that funny? The most powerful, rich people in the world are literally not allowed to be in the top degree of their little brotherhood unless they know what the Earth is. And you guys want to walk around and act like we're crazy because we tested and found out what it is. So you cannot have pressure next to a vacuum. They claim that we're spinning around in a vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torque. You cannot have pressure sitting next to a vacuum. This violates the second law of thermodynamics. Most people don't even know what that is. I'll tell you. So whenever you open up a soda and it goes psh, it actually equalizes to the lower pressure around it because it was built up high pressure because it was sealed and contained, right? And then it equalized to the lower pressure around it. This is called the second law of thermodynamics. You cannot have a spinning ball in a vacuum with pressure next to a vacuum. That's literally impossible. Of course, you're crazy. We know the Earth's a ball. We went to space in 1969. NASA just can't go back. I guess they need some more Nazis because they literally brought Nazis over here in Operation Paperclip to even supposedly go to the moon. So what they've defined space as is a literal impossibility. They're effectively trolling you because, like I said, they know what the Earth is. So if you don't even know where you live, you don't know the nature of where you live, but a select group of people in the 33rd degree do know where you live, well, it looks like they're a little bit more in the know than you are. And of course, that's the entire point of Freemasonry, is knowledge is power. They think that they are enlightened. They know the truth. They know that the average, everyday zombies that walk around don't know the truth. Most people are still scared of the air, apparently. It was just going to take 2 weeks to get back to normal. Oops, I mean, just over a year, but oxygen's going to kill you even though it's the primary thing that keeps you alive. And that oxygen is a part of a pressurized system. You can't have a pressurized system adjacent to a near-perfect vacuum 10 to the negative 17 torque. This violates the second law of thermodynamics. What they said about space is a lie. And they can't even go back to the moon under their own admission. World-renowned astronaut Don Pettit said, I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back. So they can't go back to the moon because you can't go to the moon. It's not something you can land on and you can't get there. It's not a vacuum. It's literally impossible. Also, they say 70% of this ball Earth is oceans. That's water. Fluid statics necessitates that water finds its level. How could 70% of a ball be level? That doesn't really seem to add up to me. See, we put fluid in level so we can build things. Yeah, level doesn't mean curved. It's the opposite of that. The surface of your floor in your house isn't curving or wouldn't have been able to be built. So how is it that 70% of a ball is level? They made the lie so dumb that if you have to believe it, you have to trick yourself. That's the whole point. They believe in the natural law of attraction. They write all of this in their own literature. I've read their literature. Most people go in here and basically revere the architecture and the symbolism, and they don't know what it means. The truth is that they're playing a troll on you. They're tricking you. These people are psychopaths. And when you get to the top degree, you actually find out you are a Luciferian. In fact, you won't be voted into the 33rd degree unless you already know this, though. So they are Luciferians. That's why they put 666 all over the globe Earth model that they lied about. We're going 66,600 miles per hour on a 66.6 degree tilt with a 0.666 feet per mile squared curvature rate. The gravity number is 6.6666. These are all coincidences. Let me check with the chat and make sure everything's all right.
I hope you guys can hear me because of the traffic, dude. I'm doing the best I can. There aren't a lot of people here, but a lot of people requested that I come here, so what are you gonna do? Going great, sir, sweet.
So yeah, the Freemasons are this crazy little group of psychopathic adults that play dress up in the dark, and they like to do a bunch of rituals. Nothing weird about that at all. Yeah, the second ritual, they actually imitate the motion of the sun over the earth, because of course we don't revolve around the sun. The sun moves over top of us. They know that. If you read their literature, actually, Albert Pike is one of the most infamous authors. He's the only Confederate soldier to have a statue outside in the city, and he is a high-level 33rd degree Freemason. He tells you the earth is flat. He tells you exactly what's going on. You're not allowed to be a 33rd degree Mason if you don't know the earth's flat. So as the zombies that don't even know the truth about the model walk around and make fun of me, they're making fun of you. And if you're an atheist, they say you're the dumbest people that exist. According to Freemasonry, atheism is the dumbest ideology to exist. You're not allowed to be a Freemason if you're an atheist. Yet they cast this lie on you, telling you that that's scientific. and that you came from apes. That everything came from nothing, lightning struck primordial soup, and then the rocks became humans eventually because, well, they turned into fish, and the fish were like, man, this water's whack, I want to jump out of here and grow some feet. And then they turned into rodents, that then turned into apes, that then turned into humans. They made this little joke because they want to weed out the dumb people out. This sounds very blunt and even kind of rude. This is me actually telling you what their literature says. It costs millions of dollars to build this thing right here. Right? These people aren't dumb. They're the most successful people in the world. And they know the earth isn't spinning. That's probably why you don't feel it spinning. The only way you feel the earth spinning is if you're hammered. And when you're hammered and you lay down and you get the spins, what do they tell you to do? Put your feet on the ground so you stop spinning, because it's not spinning. They know the sky sets over top of us like a clock. The G stands for numerous things. Now, the surface level will tell you that it stands for Grand Architect. G represents the 7th letter. 7 is the number of sacred geometry. Okay? But it stands for lots of things. One of them is geometria. That is the measurement of the earth. That's why there's a compass and a square in their symbol. They know the earth is flat. That's how you measure the earth. It's called plane survey data. The only measurements of earth that ever existed was assuming the earth was flat. You have to drop what's called a plumb line. That is a vertical line you drop to the ground to establish vertical, assuming it's perpendicular to the horizontal plane earth. So you can't even measure the earth if you don't assume it's flat. And the Masonic symbol is all about measurement of the earth. That's why it has a compass and a square. So you can't be a 33rd degree Mason without knowing what the earth is. And you actually have to get voted on. These people are literally psychopaths. They believe that they are superior to you because they track their bloodline back to elites. In fact, this is going to sound really crazy, but this is what they believe. They actually believe that they tie back to a physically superior bloodline that comes from a divine source. They believe they track back to the Nephilim, to the Watchers, and that they're actually physically superior to you. They're really obsessed with blood types. I've actually had a Mason ask my blood type before. Supposedly they're not allowed to recruit you, but they try to recruit me like 3 times. Isn't that interesting? So whenever you are a little bit sharper than the average person, meaning you actually research things, if you actually research things during the know, they try to latch onto you because they can't let this out, right? And most of the Masons have no idea what's going on. Most of the police officers are Masons. That's why you don't get a speeding ticket whenever you're a Mason. Of course, there's actually 105 IQ cutoff to be a police officer. Those people don't make it to the 33rd degree. They give you access to the library. They do not tell you have to go read the library. They just sit back and see if you figure it out. And if you're actually bright enough to figure it out, then they eventually will invite you into the 33rd degree to replace someone else, and everyone has to vote on you. 33 degrees. The compass reads 32. They're hiding the center. That's the 33rd. They're obsessed with the number 33. Just because they know that they hid the nature of the earth and what's in the center of it. It's also illegal to travel to the outside of the earth. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. Every major world superpower in the world has agreed on this. Yeah, that means Russia, China, the United States. I thought they were enemies. Apparently they're not enemies. All right? They actually have all agreed that you as humans of the everyday population are not allowed to explore the earth. You can look this up yourself. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. It was signed in the 50s within 1 year of NASA being founded. NASA in Hebrew actually means to deceive. Probably a coincidence, though. So they brought Nazis over here in Operation Paperclip. They put an SS officer of the Nazi regime in charge of space exploration with all kinds of blood on his hand. Let's just skip the war crime, treasonous trials, and the hangings they should have actually experienced. We'll revere them as scientific geniuses. Apparently the reason we can't go back to the moon is because we're fresh out of Nazis, I guess. So what they did was they trolled you. They trolled you, and they wanted to see how many people in the public would figure it out. And guess what happened? We failed miserably. People are still scared of the air a year after the government made up a pseudo-scientific story, allegedly not medical advice. YouTube loves to terminate channels nowadays. If I even tell you the specifics of all of that, which I would love to do, I will literally be taken off of YouTube, and my channel will be permanently terminated. What a free country we live in. I'm not even allowed to read medical journals on air anymore. I thought this was a free country. I thought it represented freedom. Obviously, it does not. I actually get harassed when I get on my PA system oftentimes, and that's called the First Amendment. Now, I know that most people are going to walk right by, not listen, and They're just trying to post a pic for the gram and get home to watch Netflix. But there are some people that are going to come by that need to hear it. I happen to know that because the reason I'm out here is because the Creator has called me out into the world to wake people up. There's no coincidence if you can hear my voice that you hear it, you're supposed to hear it. The truth of the matter is that religion sucks, but the scriptures are true. You don't need men to tell you about them, they messed them up. How about you go to the ancient Hebrew, you find out it's a lot different than the English, right? And actually if you look up Hebrew, you'll find the Babylonian cuneiform of Hebrew, which is not the original Hebrew. There's something called Paleo-Hebrew that predates that. And there's even a more ancient Hebrew before that, which was more pictographic. Okay, so they hid the real language, they hid the real translations, and they hid the real compilation of scriptures. There's 66 in the canon right now. That's a coincidence. They love their number 666. They told you that you're spinning around the sun. This is because they worship the sun. Again, they believe that they are collectively Lucifer. They are literally Luciferians. They admit this in their own literature. I'm the conspiracy theorist, and you don't even know what the strongest, most powerful people in the world believe? I'm telling you what they say. They say the earth is flat, it doesn't move, and that it has a firmament. They told you that we go around the sun because they worship the sun. And what speed do we go around the sun? Supposedly 66,600 miles per hour on a 66.6 degree tilt. Now if you Google it, it'll say 23.4 degrees. Of course, if you take that from a 90 degree right angle, that's 66.6. So that means we're on both a 23.4 and a 66.6 degree tilt. But of course, I'm not going to tell you the other number. Gravity, made up fairy tale to explain how the earth could be a ball, because if it wasn't there, you would fall off the ball. It has to explain omnidirectionality. The number for this is 6.66666, rounded up to 6.67. The circumference of the earth in nautical miles is supposedly 21,600. 6 times 6 times 600. The diameter of the moon is supposedly 2,160. 6 times 6 times 60. It's starting to get a little weird. The curvature rate of the earth is supposedly 8 inches per mile squared to 1,000 miles because it's parabolic. Pythagorean theorem, right? Well, that is 0.666 feet per mile squared. The Freemasons are trolling you. They think that you're beneath them. And I can't even get specific with what their plans are because I will be terminated off of YouTube, the biggest platform in the world. But I will tell you this, and this is kind of the way I can skirt around it. They are telling you that, well, the government's now going to give you permission to breathe air again. You just have to be genetically modified. And they're scanning your wrist and your forehead as you go into stores. They've been doing this for about a year now. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but what most of you call fairy tale, the scriptures, they predicted this. The scriptures prophesied this thousands of years ago, that in the end there would be a mark of the beast, and it would have to do with your wrist and forehead. Well, what a coincidence that when every world government shut down together on the same year, that's the same year, they started scanning your wrist and your forehead. And they made you identify yourself physically to buy, sell, and trade. And you guys think it's a coincidence. You guys sound like coincidence theorists. These people know what's going on. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. They're trying to take over. These people have a crazy religion. Now you think, oh, this guy's religious. No, I hate religion. These guys, though, the Masons, are very religious. You're not allowed to be a Mason if you're an atheist. It's literally not allowed. You can't even get to the first degree if you're an atheist. Now, what do they believe? That's the real question. They worship Nimrod, Osiris, Gilgamesh, the man of many names. He built the Tower of Babel. A lot of people think that's not real, but they know it was real. You can look up something called the Georgia Guidestones. I've actually documented it this year. It tells you they want to rebuild Babylon. They have to maintain world's population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Well, there's supposedly over 8 billion people in the world. So how is it that we're going to get to under 500 million? I don't know. Maybe that's why they're making everyone become genetically modified this year. Just not medical advice. Just speculating here. So they're making you scan your wrist and forehead, identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade. The same year the entire world's governments decided to shut down over, oh, in this free country we now have lockdown. That's a prison term. We have lockdowns and curfews. I'm not 12, bro. I don't got curfews. So they're trying to take over, and you guys are blindly complying. And you guys don't know what the end game is. The end game is they're going to roll out a one world order. It's on the back of your dollar bill. Okay? It literally says in Latin, New World Order. And he favors our undertaking. Who favors it? Well, on the top of their dollar, it tells you God, People think God is just an ambiguous term of a creator. No, it's the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. That is why it's on the back of the dollar. It's the Babylonian deity for fortune. These people are Babylonians. Now, of course, Egypt, Babylon, tomato, they had the same ideology. That's why they have Egyptian symbolism out here. Of course, this is also symbolic of Solomon's temple. They want to rebuild Solomon's temple, supposedly the most wise king ever. Now, he did have more wisdom than anyone, and he abused it, and they worship him and deify him for this. If you guys think this is a fairy tale, you should probably research history a little better. The real fairy tale is that Christopher Columbus founded America. That's a fairy tale. The truth of the matter is the most powerful people in the world built this building. The most powerful people in the world know the earth's not a spinning ball, and they know it's flat, and they know the scriptures are true. But they're trying to beat the creator. They think that collectively they can effectively become gods, and they will actually beat the creator in the end, and they will take over the entire world with a one world order. The truth of the matter is they will take over the whole world. They will successfully take over the entire world, but they will lose. See, my boy Yeshua is coming back, and he's not very happy, and he's coming with a sword. So I encourage you to get right with them. I encourage you to blindly comply to the government. I can't even get into specifics. It's really sad, but they run a PSYOP on you last year, and it's still going. They told you that all the gas ran out, so what'd you do? You went and bought all the gas, so then the gas ran out. They just told you another cyber attack happened, and they hit the food supply. I predicted that 3 weeks ago, recorded. I know what they're doing. They're running logistics. They're trying to see who's going to fall for what. Next, grid or water. Okay? They're going to keep running the PSYOPs to see how it is that you react, so they know what they need to work on for whenever they implode the system to bring out the new system. It's order out of chaos. So the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 33 degrees. The 33 is very layered. The 33rd degree is missing on the compass. This is because it actually points towards the center. It's where the center is. They're hiding the center. They know that there's something very metaphysically important at the center. What is it? I can't tell you exactly. We're not allowed to go there. But I know one thing. If you guys want to attack me because I'm standing up for your freedoms and you want to defend these psychopaths, to me, you are now an enemy. And I'm not fearful of you, and I don't care what you have to say. I encourage you to open your mind and think about what the truth is and find out for yourself. You can't have pressure next to a vacuum. That's dumb. It violates the second law of thermodynamics. You cannot have pressure next to a vacuum. It will fill the available space. Entropy will always increase spontaneously. This is a natural law, a scientific law. It cannot be refuted or debated. It has no exceptions. 70% of this ball Earth is supposedly water. Fluid statics necessitates water finds its level. How could 70% of a ball be level? It couldn't be. And it's even more than this. We actually didn't just like randomly decide, I wonder if the Earth's flat. Let's talk about it. We went and tested it. The Earth is provably flat. It has the curve at 8 inches per mile squared to 1,000 miles. We have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. We don't see this. 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, we have an observation where the horizon's over 10 miles away, requiring the radius value to be over 250,000 miles. Well, they claimed it's under 4,000. This is getting weird. The problem is, if the radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. Gravity requires this number, day and night cycle requires this number, distances on the Earth require this number, supposed orbit of planets require this number. You couldn't go to space without an accurate radius value. You need what's called the radius of orbit, so you can attain escape velocity. Okay, so that's the distance from the center to the surface. That's what a radius is. The center to the surface of a sphere or a circle. The radius has been falsified. That's why I'm censored, forcibly. So I encourage you guys not to just blindly walk by this stupid little psychopathic building that's trying to take your rights and revere Solomon and all these psychopathic esoteric religions while you prohibit oxygen. Wake up, read the scriptures, because they've read them. They know what the scriptures say, and they think that they can actually win in the end. Every single one of the 33rd degree authors, they say the Earth is flat. And that's not why I think the Earth's flat. I don't believe psychopathic liars that are pedophiles that do little rituals in the dark and play dress up as grown men. That's really weird to me. I went and tested the Earth. I know for a fact it's flat. It's not curving. If the surface of the Earth isn't curving anywhere, what's it doing? It's flat. If the horizon is always horizontal, what is it? It's flat. That's what the word horizon means. It comes from horizontal. So the Earth's not a spinning ball in a vacuum. That defies multiple physics. right? Laws of physics, by the way. The second law of thermodynamics, fluid statics, etc. We falsified the radius value. The Earth isn't spinning. Whenever you see the sun move away from you in the sky, guess what it's doing? It's moving away from you in the sky. You're not falling backwards 1,000 miles an hour, and it just looks like that, but it's actually sitting still. That's the most psychopathic nonsense I've ever heard. And they put this lie out there to weed out the dumber part of the population. They actually look at us like statistics. We're not a part of their elite bloodline. They've actually asked my blood type because they want to know. Isn't that funny that Mason's asking my blood type? What a weird way to start a conversation, bro. This is why they have Egyptian symbology out here, because they worship the same thing the Egyptians did. Many people think it's fairy tales. The truth is there used to be a one world order. There was actually an antediluvian one world order called Atlantis. That's real, and all the Masons know it's real, and all the Masonic literature knows it's real. This is just one example for you. They know Atlantis is real. They know you think it's a fairy tale. They think you're dumb. They're laughing at you. They're trying to rebuild Babylon. And they're going to, because you people are still wearing masks a year later. It's psychopathic. The government doesn't give you the right to breathe oxygen. That's dumb. They lied about the earth. They lied about your origins. Everything didn't come from nothing. The Big Bang Theory was actually proposed by a Catholic priest. I thought this is why you were an atheist. Well, why did a Catholic have to give it to you? And again, you can't be a Mason if you're an atheist. They consider atheism the dumbest ideology that exists. In their own words. Atheism was proposed simply to weed out parts of the population. That's what they said. See, the scriptures are true and they know that, but they think they can win. Now, don't go to a church and ask them about it, because everything they tell you is going to be wrong. They're going to lie. Men are stupid. Religion sucks. But the scriptures are true. Yeshua is real. They call him Jesus. That wasn't his name. I've never seen another religion, quote unquote, where they change the main character's name, change his birthday, change the actual translations, and change every part of the story, and take a lot of the books out. They know this is the truth. You have to read the scriptures to get to the 33rd degree. You also have to read all of their literature in the library. You also have to know the earth is flat. You also have to know that this isn't mythos, and that it's actually real.
Does everything sound all right? Like on the... I know we're like right by the road. All of a sudden, here comes landscapers with blowers. I'm sorry, guys. Good, sweet. We're not gonna have as many people as like at the White House, you know what I'm saying? But there are people walking on both sides of the street, so I'm just kind of talking as they walk by. All right, we got some more people. Here we go.
I'm glad you asked. Yes, in fact, the Freemasons are psychopaths. Why would we revere these psychopaths? They're not crazy. They just do pedophilia and crazy little rituals in the dark, playing dressed up like men. Skull and bones, that's Freemasonry. Guess what they have to do? They actually have to jack off inside of a casket in front of other men. I hate to be vulgar. I can't even describe their actions without being that way. Okay? They think you're dumb because you think the Earth's a spinning ball in a vacuum. They think you're dumb because you're wearing oxygen inhibitors for over a year after they told you to be 2 weeks. You don't get to the 33rd degree unless you're voted on. You get access to the library, but they don't make you go there. They sit back and see if you pass the IQ test. Well, guess what all of the most infamous 33rd degree authors say? That the Earth is geocentric stationary plane. It doesn't move. The sky moves over top of us for all recordable history, and it has a dome, a firmament. That's why all the architecture in the city has domes. It's the most efficient way to harness energy. I'm just saying, though. So they lied to you. Wake up. And also understand for the mark of the beast. This was prophesied thousands of years ago. They're scanning your wrist and your forehead as you go into stores. The same year they told you to identify yourself to buy, sell, or trade. As all the world's governments have agreed to shut down overnight. And then they imploded the dollar. The dollar's death warrant has been signed. It will implode. Inflation is inevitable. It's basic economics. You think the prices are rising coincidentally? No, they're going to skyrocket. The dollar will collapse. They will replace it with a digital currency to connect the entire world. This is all part of a script. You weren't involved in it. So wake up.
In a world. What's up, guys? Dang, it's kind of hot out there. Oh, I could just sit here with the chair. Oh, good. We can go get the other one.
I'll go get it.
Yeah, I'll read the chat on my other phone. You're doing awesome. Thank you, bro. It's kind of hot. I'm going to take a little water break. They have a tour at 3:30. I guess no one wanted to go. I had a bunch of cops eyeing me, guys. What a joke. Tell them, take that pentagram off their chest or I can't respect them.
I'll show you guys the PA system a little bit. I went ahead and sucked it up and got $3.50 on it. Someone donated $100 too, so I'll pay the rest. So I'm out here to try to raise awareness to the fact that this psychopathic temple behind me is ran by crazy people that are very powerful, and you guys walk by it every day and don't even think twice about it. This costs millions of dollars. 33rd degree Masons, you don't just pop out of nowhere and become a 33rd degree Mason. You have to be voted on and let in. Most Masons don't even know the truth. They don't even go read the library. The truth is, they know the Earth's a geocentric stationary plane. Geocentric means it's the center of everything. Stationary means it's not moving. Plane means it's not curving. I've been testing it for 5 years. I know for a fact that the Earth is flat. But they think you're dumb because you believe their fairy tale pseudoscientific story of a spinning ball, speck of dust there. Everything came from nothing in the ever-expanding universe. They're just trying to weed out the lower IQ. This is what they say in their own words. It's very funny though, because no one's read the literature, no one knows who the Masons really are, what they're really up to. Yet they walk by and they mock me and they smirk. They love that. They love that you do that. I really hate this is right by the road. That's right, the Earth is flat. It doesn't curve in all directions. You're special. It's the center of everything. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. And if you think it's just a coincidence, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. So one thing I do, which is pretty unlikely with the lack of people here, people are typically nervous. I give anyone $100 cash that can answer 3 basic questions about the globe Earth. I do this to prove that no one even knows what they think I'm crazy for not believing in. I know every single aspect of it. I encourage you to open your mind and research it for yourself. The cool part about this is you don't have to just blindly believe the guy sitting in front of the crazy psychopath's temple. You can go test it yourself. Okay, I've been testing the Earth for numerous years. What you do is you go make long distance observations and you see if the Earth is curving like they said it is. It's not. It has to curve at 8 inches per mile squared. It doesn't. Anywhere, all over the Earth. Is the Earth a ball that's just flat everywhere? Is 70% of the Earth ocean that's flat, but it's still a ball? Because fluid statics necessitates water finds its level. Second law of thermodynamics necessitates pressure always fills the available space because entropy will increase spontaneously. Fancy way of saying you can't have pressure unless it's contained. It has to have the walls of a container to bounce off of. That's what builds up the pressure. You want to switch? Sure. So open up your mind, test it for yourself. You don't need psychopathic trillionaires to tell you what to think. Every single 33rd degree Mason knows the Earth is flat. I guarantee you one of them won't come out here and debate me about it because they agree with me. So now you should ask yourself, well, what do I do with this newfound information, right? If the Earth's flat, if it's not moving, what does that matter? Who even cares? I gotta go post a pic for the gram and watch Netflix. Well, if the Earth is geocentric and stationary, that means it's the center of everything. It doesn't move and everything moves around you. Well, guess what? That means it had to be put there. The Earth was created and so were you. It's a literal impossibility that it wasn't. This is not about religion or what you think or your opinion or I'm so woke, I'm an atheist. This is about objectivity. It's called an antecedent relationship, fancy word for requirement. The requirement for creation is a creator. That's why they hid the Earth. They know there's a creator, but they actually think that collectively they'll become Lucifer, which is intellect and reason, and that they will beat the creator. Now you might think they're crazy, they think you're dumb. And I want to let you know that you're not dumb. You've just been attacked from all angles from a young age. You've been brainwashed with propaganda, the public school system, cartoons, media, fairy tales, fear porn, propaganda and propaganda and propaganda. But you can break from that. You're special. You have a spirit. They cannot break that. They have to get you to blindly give your power over. It's all about tricking you into becoming weak. Hopefully one of these guys will come out and chat with me and we can see what they say about the Earth. I actually don't know that they're allowed to talk about it though. Isn't that weird? So the second ritual in Freemasonry is actually imitating the movement of the sun over the Earth. You have to go around east to west, imitating the movement of the sun over the earth. But they don't tell you which one it is. They want to see who figures it out. Most of them don't figure it out, and they just sit there as their cloak, effectively. This is their cover. Most people don't actually know what's going on. Good thing I have a PA system, and that leaf blower is not going to stop me. Anyway, I'll just play my song through here then. Maybe we'll take a short intermission. I can drink some water. I'm going to play my song. These guys, so cool. These guys are so cool. Yeah, look at all these leaves out here. Make sure you get them. So this guy can't expose Freemasonry. You actually don't have to wear masks. They're bad for you. They result in oxygen deprivation. Allegedly, not medical advice, because we're not in a free country, and YouTube will terminate my channel if I tell you the truth about what's going on. The earth is not a spinning ball. The Freemasons that run the world know that. I've read all of their literature. Most of you guys didn't even know that exists. You can't be a 33rd degree Freemason unless you know the earth is flat, not moving, in the center of everything. G stands for geometria, among many other things. That's the measurement of the earth. That's why it has a square and a compass inside of their logo. These guys are psychopaths. I keep thinking the door's open and I get excited. Maybe one of them will come out and debate me since I'm so crazy. The truth is, they also know the earth is flat. Again, you can't even be a Freemason 33rd degree unless you know the earth is flat. The earth's not a spinning ball in a vacuum that defies physics. You're not a tiny speck of dust where everything came from nothing. You're special. You're beautiful. You have a spirit. You're individual. No one can take that from you. They're trying to strip it from you, but you have to give it up yourself. The Creator loves you. He made you powerful. Watch out for the mark of the beast. They are conditioning you for the mark of the beast. You may think that's crazy, but they're scanning your wrist, they're scanning your forehead, they're making you identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade. You do not have to take what they give you. You're free. They're not allowed to make you do anything. The whole game is to trick you into doing it yourself. The Georgia Guidestones say that they want to rebuild Babylon and maintain the world's population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. They say there's just over 8 billion people in the world. Well, how do you get to under 500 million then? Maybe you're starting to put together what their plan is. They don't care about you. They look at you as a statistic. You're in their way. They're eugenics. Eugenics is just controlled reproduction. On the Georgia Guidestones, it also says to guide reproduction wisely. They want to control who can have children. That's why this little genetic modification may or may not affect that ability. I'm gonna start rapping to a replay. Yeah. You saw the world and distorted it, and now you think you want a rocket twirl somewhere orbiting, but they theory is disproportionate. The truth will get distorted quick. Yeah, that's what a force will grip. They force and miss, info we absorb and quick. Took the people's signature, extorted it, they forging it. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Built a credit economy with mortgages. A dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this. We port in ships important gifts. Of course it is what extortion is. In accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks. We ignoring which informant this, informant this. We snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilified those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. I'm trying to wake you up, I'm on your team. A lot of these people are already genetically modified, walking around as zombies. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to those of you who can still hear the truth. The earth cannot be a spinning ball in a vacuum. This defies physics. I'm offering $100 to anyone that can answer 3 basic questions about the globe earth. 3 basic questions. I'll even tell you what the first question is. How many times does the earth spin in 24 hours? If you can't get that question right, you definitely have no business laughing as you walk by saying I'm crazy. The truth of the matter is that I haven't had to give the $100 to anyone, and I've been asking for 4 straight days in the city. It's because no one even knows what the globe earth claims. They think I'm crazy for not believing it, and they don't know what they believe. It's effectively like me going into church, someone telling me the Bible's real, but they've never read Genesis before. Well, I did read Genesis. I read your little religion. It is a religion. Most people think that they're atheists that believe in this religion, but atheism doesn't exist. Because you would have to say you know for a fact that there's no creator. Speaking of the Masons, the psychopath's temple that I'm sitting in front of, you're not allowed to be a Freemason if you're an atheist. They literally let you in. According to their literature, atheism is the dumbest ideology ever. They actually put it out into the public to see how many people would fall for it, effectively to weed out the lower IQs. This is what they say. They look at you like a number. The truth is you're special. You have a spirit. You were created. You don't get your permission to breathe from the government. That's dumb. You don't have to blindly comply to the government. How long are we going to blindly comply to them until we turn around and people are just getting slaughtered? Because that's happened before if you guys have never read history. The earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. That defies physics. You can't have pressure next to a vacuum. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. You can go measure the earth for yourself. Go test the radius value. See if it's actually 3,959 miles. It has to curve at a certain rate. Guess what? It doesn't. Anywhere. All over the earth. There are tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of us. This is why it's censored, because you think flat earth is flat earth society, which literally not one flat earther thinks anything flat earth society says. So when you Google it, that's all you'll get. You won't get my channel. You won't get Globe Busters. You won't get Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. You won't get Jeranism. You won't get any of the actual flat earthers. You know what you'll get? The Flat Earth Society. Isn't that interesting? That in Congress they admitted that they censor flat earth because it's quote unquote dangerous misinformation. It's so dangerous that maybe you were created and the earth is special in the center of everything. What are we going to ever do? This is so dangerous. We need people to walk around like zombies and get genetically modified, scared of the air, and blindly comply to totalitarian orders for over a year. They wouldn't do that if they knew there was a creator. You don't get your rights from the government. You get it from the creator. You become much more powerful once you know you were created. The earth is the center of everything and it doesn't move. There's literally no other way for it to exist unless it was put there. The people that actually built this temple, they know what the earth is. Every 33rd degree Freemason literature that's ever existed says the earth is flat. So do you think the most powerful, successful people in the world are dumb? Because your argument's falling apart right now. Because apparently flat earth is dumb, but the most powerful, intelligent people in the world, and I wouldn't actually say intelligent, you know, take it or leave it. They think they are. But anyway, the most powerful, successful people in the world know the earth doesn't move. They know the earth's the center of everything. They know that it's flat. The G stands for numerous things. If you ask a Mason, they'll tell you the grand architects. They'll tell you a few little surface level things. One of the big ones is that G, right? That's the seventh letter, 7, sacred number of sacred geometry. Another big one is geometria. Okay, that is the measurement of the earth. Geometria. And that's why their logo has a compass and a square. That's how you measure a flat earth. They know what the earth is. But they told you that you're a tiny speck of dust in the ever-expanding universe and you're not important and you evolved from monkeys because lightning struck some water, then rocks became fish that grew feet and jumped down. We're like, whoa, I want to be a rodent now. They actually say you came from rats. They want you to think that you're not important. You actually believe that you came from a rat, bro? Just believe us. It took billions of years. We just can't verify any timelines. You're special. You didn't come from nothing. You didn't evolve from monkeys. You don't need the government's permission to be free. They have to respect the fact that we're free. The Constitution doesn't give us our freedoms. It's actually us articulating our freedoms. The government has to listen to what we say. That was when we decided to tell them what our freedoms were. The Declaration of Independence says it comes from the Creator. Well, it's right. Even the Freemasons built this entire country, this entire city, and that's why there's nothing but Freemasonic statues all around you. Roman ideology. Okay? And every single 33rd degree Freemason knows what the earth is. Every single one of them know the air is not about to kill you. Every single one of them know that they're trying to accomplish a new world order. It's on the back of your dollar bill in Latin. New world order. It literally says it. And it says, favors our undertakings. Who favors their undertakings? Well, it says that on the dollar also. In God we trust. God is the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. It's a Babylonian deity. A deity from Babylon. For fortune, that's why it's on the back of the money. And the dollar will collapse. They already signed the death warrant. They did that about 2 years ago, really way before that, but they expedited it during this little psyop where everyone's scared of the air. The dollar will collapse. You need to get right with the Creator. They are conditioning you for the mark of the beast. And you people fell for it already. Wait till they tell you you won't die. Wait till they tell you you won't age anymore. They're going to come back and tell you that they can reverse cell degradation and you can telepathically communicate. You people will take a mark if you can telepathically communicate and not die anymore. But guess what happens? You lose your soul. You lose your spirit. And then you'll never get it back. The scriptures are true, but religion is dumb. Don't listen to men. His name's not God. It's Yehovah. Yahweh. His name's not Jesus, it's Yeshua, which is short for Yehoshua. He is the most historically accurate figure to ever exist. He overcame death and he loves you. Do not fall for the mark of the beast. They are scanning your wrist, scanning your forehead, making you identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade. And now they're telling you to get genetically modified with something experimental, allegedly not medical advice, because I'll get taken off forcibly in this totalitarian government we now live in. I can't even tell you guys the truth. I can't even read medical journals. I can't read medical journals of clinical studies on here because YouTube will terminate my channel. Isn't that interesting? I thought this was a free country. If I'm so crazy, what are they so scared of? No, please take the mask off. Please do not scare your children into wearing them either. They have very malleable immune systems. They need oxygen. This is what keeps us alive. Allegedly, not medical advice. So you do not have to blindly comply to the government. You don't need their permission to breathe. You know what they need? They need our permission for everything, and we've let them flip the tables on us. We've let them scare us into submission. We're going to turn around and not have our freedoms. Are you going to look your grandchildren and your children in the eyes when they say, hey, Dad, where were you when we lost all of our rights? Where were you when the government took over and now we can't do anything freely anymore? Where were you when they started giving us curfews and using the word lockdown like we were in a prison? Hey, Dad, where were you? I was watching CNN. I had to make sure that I kept up with the Cowboys and the Nets. Drake dropped a new album, though. What are you going to tell your children? I don't do this for adults that don't want to know the truth. I do this for adults that want to know the truth, and I do this for children. They're lying to children. If you want to walk around like a zombie, believing all the fairy tales the government told you, be my guest. I literally couldn't care much less than I do. But they are lying to children. And you know what the scripture says about lying to children? It says if you lead one of these little ones astray, it's better that you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be thrown into the depths of the sea. It's all fun and games when you're big and bad on the earth. Wait until you're not on the earth anymore. See, science can't even explain your intuition or your memories or astral projection or dreams. This is because it isn't all just a physical body. There's something much deeper. You have a spirit, and they're trying to attack it. And these Masons know that. You're not allowed to be a Mason if you're an atheist. They consider it the dumbest ideology that exists. You literally can't be a Mason if you're an atheist. So they promoted atheism to see how many people would fall for it to weed out the lower IQ people is what they would say. IQ is dumb anyway. So what's up?
What's up? So your microphone is preventing me from working. I'm not very pleased that you're
Preventing
out
you
there.
from working.
I live right there.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you.
Sweet. I mean, it's working.
No. Do I have to call the police?
You can call them and you can ask them about the First Amendment.
Well, I don't care if you talk, but you don't have to talk with the microphone.
It's called the First Amendment.
That you can talk with the microphone.
Yeah, they have to bring a decibel reader out here and it has to be higher than what the legal ordinance is.
Okay, what is the legal ordinance?
Less than this. More than this.
I don't know. There were other people. Wow.
You're not going to scare me from talking, lady.
Why would you want to be so rude?
Because you're trying to shut down my First Amendment. You can leave me alone. I tried to be kind with you, and you're trying to basically strong-arm me by scaring me with police. I talk to them all the time. They know my First Amendment. They took an oath to my First Amendment. Maybe you don't like to hear. Did you know the Earth's not a spinning ball in a vacuum? They lied about the Earth. Did you know that? They're lying to children. Did you know that? You could care less. Well, then maybe you should just keep it pushing. I guess you don't care about the fact the government took over last year either. You don't care that we're going to lose all of our rights.
I care very much about that.
Well, we've all lost our rights over the last year and no one's doing anything. And when I go try to wake people up, there's always someone that comes around and tries to shut me down.
Well, that should tell you something.
Yeah, that there's a bunch of zombies out here that don't care about their freedoms that my friends died for.
What freedoms have we lost?
We had lockdowns this year. You don't have lockdowns in a free country. That's a prison term.
Oh, okay. So you're...
No, I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'll get terminated off of YouTube. That's how free our country is. I can't even talk about it. What a free country. They gave us lockdowns and curfews. And now all hell Biden, he said that you can now breathe oxygen again as long as you take something. What a joke. That's not a free country.
So you're a Trump person.
I'm not a Trump person. I think Trump's a psychopath. He took $4.7 billion from the Rothschilds. He's an idiot. Yeah, I don't believe in politics. I'm not dumb. I didn't fall for the trick.
Well, of course you do, because you're a right-wing thinker.
I'm not any type of thinker. You mean I stand for my rights? See, this is the thing. The Constitution doesn't give me my rights. I had them before that. You know who gave me my rights? The Creator. Did you know there's a Creator? You don't think there's a Creator? You think you came from apes?
I'm not keeping going there.
Well, you can't come. You can't come at me because the Creator got my back. I'm just letting you know. He called me out here. Maybe you're supposed to hear this. Maybe you're not. I don't know. Maybe someone else wants to hear our conversation.
The Creator would not want you to do what you're doing.
Really? I thought you didn't believe in the Creator.
I can say that.
So do you?
I would say I'm an agnostic.
Oh, okay. Well, anyone that believes in the Creator, they would know he's real. You're saying you don't know? That's cool. At least you're honest. Some people claim to be atheists. That doesn't even exist. No one knows there's no Creator. I'll take a break in a second, but I'm not going to stop. I'm sorry. The Creator called me out here.
And what's your name?
Austin.
Austin what?
Why would I tell you my last name? What's your name? That's what's up. It rhymes with truth, something you're obviously vehemently opposed to.
What's
What's
why
up?
are you guys here? It's so loud in my apartment.
Word? That means it's working pretty well. I'm glad I bought this
That's
thing.
what I was out here because I live here and I can hear it.
It's so loud. It's
so
really
loud.
annoying.
It's
Oh, did I wake you up to the fact that Earth's not a spinning ball and the Masons are crazy?
I don't have any feeling about the Masons one way or the other.
Did you know they like control our society and kill tons of people? You don't care about that?
I don't really know about the Masons. I have nothing to do with the Masons.
Oh, okay. Well, they're all over your city. They built the whole city.
That's.
Do you know what the First Amendment is?
I know what the First Amendment is, but you're just sitting here talking to each other. There's no.
No, I'm
reason-
talking to tons of people that walk by and then hundreds of people that are watching you try to harass me right now, live.
Well,
I don't know what to
If
do.
you want to go get your little party together and go talk to the people that wear pentagrams, please do. They're going to tell you to leave me alone. It's called the First Amendment.
I don't think it's the First
I
Amendment.
don't think it's.
Oh, well, let me tell you what the First Amendment says. It says I'm allowed to freely express myself regardless of what losers on the street say about it. So can y'all please stop harassing me?
Express yourself, but not with a microphone.
Actually, it doesn't say without a microphone. There's not a stipulation to the First Amendment, and even the city ordinance allows it up to a certain decibel. Stop touching my stuff, bro. That's assault, bro. Back up, dude.
That's just assault.
Back up.
Okay.
Touch my stuff again, dude. What is wrong with you?
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Really, you
Jeez.
really do have a chip on your
I really
shoulder.
can't believe you just touched my phone, dude. You should probably walk away.
You really have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, because I know the Creator's got my back, and I'm not scared of you, bro.
I'm not trying to.
You couldn't. Can you just leave me alone? Are you harassing me at this point?
Well,
You're harassing us.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting still.
because it's very loud.
I'm sorry you're scared of the truth.
It's very loud in the apartment.
Oh,
you
oh
know?
man,
And
that's
I
crazy.
mean, I don't feel like listening to you.
Well, then I guess you need to put some headphones on. Okay, peace out.
Do you want to buy headphones for the whole neighborhood? That's fine.
I just want you to leave.
Well, I don't want to leave.
Hey, I'll give you $100 if you can answer 3 basic questions about the
I don't
globe
want-
Earth. Oh, you can't. Okay, so bye.
I don't want to.
You're ruining the
game.
stream. Actually, this is hilarious content, to be honest.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
I'm glad you know that the First Amendment means you can't shut me down, and now you're trying to coerce me into doing it, but it's not going to work.
No, but
Okay, anyway, the Earth's not a spinning ball that defies physics. The second law of thermodynamics necessitates... Call the police and stop talking about it. Please stop interrupting my live stream.
My phone.
I didn't bring my phone with me. But
Oh my gosh. God, guys, if you want to know what gamma looks like in real life, here's a perfect example. Can you... So anyway, the Earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. That defies the second law of thermodynamics. You can't have pressure adjacent to a near-perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. Pressure will fill the available space. It will increase. NASA said they went to the moon in 1969, but they can't go back. But they brought Nazis over here to do that. It's called Operation Paperclip, declassified on their own website. So we should probably have to get some more Nazis back here to go to the moon, I guess. World-renowned astronaut Don Bettis said we can't go back to the moon because they destroyed the technology and it's a painful process to build it back. So that checks out. Also, fluid statics necessitates water finds its level. So how could 70% of a ball Earth be level? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So the Earth is geocentric stationary plane. The Freemasons that built this place know what the Earth is. Every 33rd degree Mason knows the Earth is flat, and they wrote it in all of their literature. They also admit that they're Luciferians. Probably just a coincidence.
I think I should turn it down.
Oh, dude, I walked over there. It's not loud at all.
Okay. Different Plane of Truth. Thank you very much, bro.
I wish they would come back. Honestly, you were laughing so hard. It's really fun. Well, do people just think if they say the word police that people get scared? You know the police actually work for us? I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. So they're dismissed. So anyway, the Earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. They lie. They want you to think you're insignificant, right? And they also want you to think that police give you power, and they want to think that, you know, people like this can shut you down. I was at the Pentagon, sir. I was at the Pentagon, the military headquarters of the world, the Pentagon. And guess what I did? I represented my First Amendment. They told me I couldn't tape, and then they came back and said, sorry, sir, you're allowed to tape, continue your live stream. You think some random dude on the street's going to intimidate me? I was at the Pentagon. Ridiculous. Anyway, so a lot of you are adults. A lot of you make your own decisions. I want to give you the information. Do what you want to with it. But one real gripe I have is lying to children. We're lying to children. You are scaring children into being scared of the air. You are telling children that they're insignificant and they evolved from monkeys. That is not true. The Creator loves them. It says that if you mislead a child, it's better you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be thrown into the depths of the sea. Children are special. They're beautiful and innocent, and they believe you and they trust you. So when you don't know what you're talking about, or you believe fairy tales from the government, don't force that onto your children. If you're scared of what the narrative of the news told you, which through Operation Mockingbird declassified, the CIA runs the news. It's declassified. It's called Operation Mockingbird. They literally admit that they infiltrated the news and that many of the anchors are CIA agents to control the public narrative to be consistent with the geopolitical agenda of the time. This is their own words. And you guys like believe everything on the news. Just it's either Fox or CNN. They're both run by the CIA. And that's why most of you guys are still complying to the totalitarian orders telling you to be scared of air over a year later when they said that it would only last 2 weeks. The truth is, air's not bad for you, it's what keeps you alive. And this psychopathic group of people behind me here in this temple, they know what the earth is, that's not a spinning ball in a vacuum, and they know they're trying to take over, and they know that most people will blindly comply out of fear. They know that fear is actually the most detrimental thing when it comes to logic. You cannot actually, they can't coexist. Fear and logic don't coexist. So they put you in a state of fear so you throw your logic out. The earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. NASA said they went to the moon in 1969. They can't go back still. They still can't go back. And they admitted they brought Nazis over here. I thought we hated Nazis. I thought Nazis murdered millions of people. I thought they were war criminals. Well, we didn't put them on trial for war crimes against humanity. We propped them up as scientific geniuses, brought an SS officer over here, put him in charge of space exploration, and then he supposedly took us to the moon. So if we don't take our country back, we'll never get it back. And to be frank with you, you shouldn't put your faith in the country anyway. This is Babylon. This is the beast system. You need to get right with the Creator, Jehovah. The scriptures are true. Men have messed it up. They've mistranslated it. They've come up with religions, Baptist, Pentecost, Methodist, Catholic, a bunch of stupid little denominations to confuse you and water down the truth and change what it actually says. The scriptures tell you what the truth is. Research the Hebrew yourself. The most important thing for you to do is humble yourself and talk to the Creator, and He will not leave you hanging. If you search for Him, you'll find Him. He loves you. He made you beautiful. He made where you live beautiful. He cares about you. You're special. The world wants to get you in a state of depression and make you think that nothing matters and just walk around like a zombie day to day. That's not true. You're loved. Okay? And He's not going to force you to come to Him. But I'm going to be frank with you. Is running short. They are conditioning you for the mark of the beast. That's why I'm out here. I was called out here. They are conditioning you for the mark of the beast. That's why they scan your wrist and forehead when you walk in stores. They want you to be used to getting scanned on your wrist and forehead. Now you're normalized to it. You think that's just the normal thing to do. Walk in a store like a robot and let them scan your wrist and forehead as you mark yourself to buy, sell, and trade. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. You're good, bro. You can go, dude. Yeah, no worries. So I'm just out here trying to wake people up before it's too late. You don't need the government's permission to do anything. I've been in every single establishment in the city without wearing one of those. And guess what? I get served everywhere. Every single time. I went to the White House gift shop and I got to go through the store without it. All you have to do is stand for your rights. They just know that if they put a sign up, most of you will listen to it. Let me tell you a story about what happened when I went to the Pentagon. I went to the Pentagon. I was doing a live stream. There are signs all over the Pentagon that say no photography allowed. So if they put a sign up, they'd know that most people will read the sign and just blindly comply. You know what I did? I did a live stream. And then we had some cops come up and they tried to intimidate me away from the live stream. And then they tried to get me to ID myself. I said, no. Then they brought their supervisor. You know what the supervisor did? He said, hey guys, you're good to go. Do you need anything? So they just know if they put a sign up, most of you people will believe it and obey it. A sign doesn't supersede your rights. Just like people have come over here trying to intimidate me to get off the mic. No, I have the freedom of press, the freedom of speech. You guys should stand for that even if you disagree with what I'm saying. And in fact, everything I'm saying to you is just the truth. Okay? It's time to wake up. You've run out of time. You're sleepwalking through life for the last year and you don't realize what they did. They built an entire infrastructure around you to start a new world order. They're putting 5G everywhere, which means just updated broadband. Oh yeah, we have faster speeds. And they're putting Starlinks on the sky. 42,000 Starlinks in the sky is what their target is. They're going to have these things all over the sky. They're going to have these towers all over the place, and they're going to surveil you even more than they already do. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. That's why they're scanning your wrist and forehead. And these psychopaths that built this temple behind me are the ones that are doing all of it. And only degrees, most Masons don't even know the truth. Okay. So you want to just go tell the cops instead of bothering me? But what'd they do? They showed that I had a First Amendment. No, dude. Or what? Or what? I'm in front of the temple because these are psychos. That's why I'm here. Why do you guys, why do you have this self-inflated feeling of importance that you can come and intimidate me away from my First Amendment? What's up with people in this city? You must be genetically modified. You must not be organic anymore. They can hear me, if you can hear me.
No, they couldn't because they have people out and about and they're like, no, there's nothing going on down below with the loudspeaker.
Okay.
Bullshit, called her back and she's like,
Yeah, you seem very overly concerned with me. You should worry about yourself.
oh, really?
Yes, sir.
You're the crazy person sitting out here on a loudspeaker.
You're the crazy person smoking a cigarette while wearing a mask. So anyway, the truth of the matter is the earth is not a spinning ball. The earth,
You are so dead wrong because you're disturbing the peace.
what, do you have a, you don't look like you're a police officer.
Ridiculous hate against the Scottish white people.
Yeah, because they're psychos.
Well, you're acting like a psycho.
Well, they dress up and play dress up in the dark and they do all kinds of pedophilia and rituals. Am I supposed to not call them out? QAnon, no, I don't believe in politics, that's dumb. Trump's a crazy person just like Biden is. Yeah, we get it, y'all are leftists, it's cool. I don't believe in politics, I wasn't dumb enough to fall for the trick. Two birds with the same. No, every single president ever was all kin to each other and all relates to English royalty. You think that's a coincidence? Yeah, way more than you do. You're smoking a cigarette with a mask. That's the dumbest thing I could imagine someone doing with one on your chin. All right, man, I don't care. So, obviously... Okay, so what are you going to do? Please do, instead of annoying me.
You're annoying us.
Okay, but this is called a free country, at least as of now. Dude, the fact that this gamma male thinks he's about to scare me away from speaking my First Amendment is so laughable, bro. Like, anyway, so I had friends that died for my First Amendment. It's something this guy would never do. I'm not listening to him anymore. I'm going to talk over him with the mic. The earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. I'll give hundreds of people live and everyone that walks by. Can you leave me alone? Okay, well, I have 100-something people that disagree. So anyway, the earth is not a spinning ball. I'll give you $100 if you can answer 3 questions.
Ego to sit out here and pretend to be some...
I would say the person with the ego is the guy that thinks he can walk up and try and tell me what to do.
I'm just asking.
Learn how to put your pants on, stop smoking cigarettes, they're bad for you, and certainly with your mask on, and I will check the crap out of you, bro. Can you walk away, please?
I'm asking you.
And I'm telling you no.
Citizen request.
Okay, and I'm a citizen and I request that you leave me alone.
I will do that.
Okay, the Earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. That defies physics. You cannot have a pressurized system adjacent to a near-perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. This violates the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy will increase.
You're insane.
Cool story, bro. Entropy will always increase, okay? It sounds a little complicated, no big deal. It's just that a system spontaneously seeks equilibrium. I'll give you an example so you can understand it. So if you have a soda and you open it up, it goes psh, right? It's because it equalizes to the low pressure around you. This is called the second law of thermodynamics. Sorry, you can go here through me. You can go through here, bro. Anyway, so the second law of thermodynamics necessitates that pressure will fill the available space. Well, NASA would have us believe the Earth's a tiny speck of dust in a vacuum with pressure around it. This is literally impossible. The pressure would fill the available space. The necessary antecedent, fancy word for requirement for pressure, is containment. That's why when you took the sill off of your soda, it equalized around it. So you couldn't have a pressurized system next to a vacuum. They lied. But apparently NASA went to the moon in 1969. They just can't go back yet, over 50 years later. That checks out. Seems legit. I guess we need some more Nazis to go to space, because apparently that's the only way we got there the first time. It's called Operation Paperclip. It's declassified military themselves. They brought Nazi scientists over here to go to space. And actually the main guy was an SS officer named Werner von Braun. Yeah, so he wasn't just some random innocent scientist. He was an SS officer. He had tons of blood on his hands. And we didn't hang him for war crimes. We propped him up like he was a scientific genius. This guy also, whenever he wasn't busy trolling Americans with stupid fairy tale stories of a medium of space that couldn't exist, he also wrote science fiction books. One of the science fiction books he wrote in the 50s, the main character's name is Elon, and he founds the first civilization on Mars. Wow, what a coincidence. 70 years later, we have a guy named Elon Musk that's supposedly going to found the first civilization on Mars. Probably just a coincidence, though. They're trolling you. The Masons know what the Earth is. I've read their literature. Every 33rd degree Mason knows the Earth's a geocentric stationary plane. G stands for geometria, amongst many other things, which is the measurement of the Earth, which is why it has a square and a compass. Albert Pike, the only Confederate soldier in the city to have a statue outside, he wrote in his own words as a 33rd degree Mason that the Earth is in fact flat. They know what it is. You can't even be a 33rd degree unless you know what it is. So these people are trolling you, and they're building it right in front of you, knowing that people have no idea, and they blindly walk by it every day because they got to post a pic for the gram, bruh. I got to get back home for the Netflix. You know, forbid that we actually worry about things that are important and discover truth and then break out of the ideological chains that they built for you. They consider you to be property. You're a statistic. But the truth is that you're very special. You were made beautifully. You're independent. You're individual. You have a spirit. The Creator loves you. The Earth is geocentric. That means the center of everything. And humans have domain on the Earth. You are very special. This Earth is special. And you have domain over it. He loves you. They don't want you to know this because maybe you know you answer to the Creator and you get your rights from Him. You don't get your rights from a government. You're easier to control when you're apathetic and nihilistic, and this is why they told you that you're a tiny speck of dust where everything came from nothing randomly and you just happen to get lucky. Because you're easier to control. That's why people are still not breathing oxygen a year after they told you it would just take 2 weeks. Because they're apathetic, they're nihilistic, they emptied you out. The truth is that the sky has reset for all recordable history around Polaris, the North Pole star, right over the center of the surface of the Earth. For all recordable history, for thousands of years. The Egyptian megalithic structures still line up with the stars they aligned them to. They tell you, oh, you just don't ever see a difference because it takes billions of years and they're thousands of light years away, so it just looks like it's always resetting. And actually, it's not moving, it's still, you're just spinning and it looks like that. That's a cool story. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. This is why they scan your wrist and forehead when you go into stores. This is why they have told you to identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade. So you're used to having to be one of the in part of the crowd. You have to be part of the in crowd to be able to buy, sell, and trade. And then they scan your wrist and forehead when you enter. So you'll be used to that. You'll physically be used to getting scanned on your forehead. They're getting you ready for the mark. But wait, it's all good. All hell Biden. He told us we can breathe oxygen again as long as we take what they give us. That's a hard pass for me, and I can't even get into specifics because I'll get terminated off of YouTube in this super free country we have. The truth is that you are special. You don't need their rights because you have rights given to you from the Creator. And actually, that's what the Declaration of Independence says. It says this is an acknowledgement of the Creator's rights, the rights that the Creator gave us. The Constitution is just an articulation of that. The government must adhere to our articulation. It is not permission from the government to have those rights. It's us telling them they have to adhere to our rights that we were given by the Creator. You don't need them. That's why I have a bunch of people get spiraling, come up here trying to intimidate me from talking. It's not going to happen. I was given the right from the Creator to freely travel this earth. I was given the right from the Creator to freely speak my mind and to speak the truth. And that's what I'm going to do. I know a lot of you are adults and you've already signed over the check of apathy. You don't care about anything, you know, but some of you do. And so I plant the seed for those who have ears to hear. And it seems in today's world, but if you have ears to hear, but I hope that this resonates with a few people. I know I wasn't called here for no reason. I know that someone that's walking by is supposed to hear it. And if it reaches at least one person, it's worth it. The truth is, I really care about the fact they're lying to children. It's the most despicable thing you can do. They're telling them to be scared of the air. You're stripping their childhood from them. They don't even know what a normal world is anymore. They don't even go out and play. They feel like they have to break rules to go out and play and breathe. You're scaring them because you're scared. It's despicable. Something else they're doing is they're lying to the children, saying they're on a tiny speck of dust in this huge universe and everything came from nothing and they evolved from monkeys. That's all the stupidest postulations ever in the history of mankind. And the Masons, which are the most powerful rich people in the world, they know the earth is not moving. They know the earth is stationary, geocentric, and flat. A topographical plane. They just think it's funny that you think it's a tiny speck of dust that spins around the sun because they worship the sun at 66,600 miles per hour on a 66.6 degree tilt with a 0.666 feet per mile square curvature rate. What a coincidence. See, they're obsessed with the number 666. They put it all throughout their model. They say the circumference of the earth in nautical miles is 21,600, 6 times 6 times 600. The supposed number for gravity, which isn't actually real. I guess butterflies defy gravity and so do helium balloons. Right? But gravity has to be real if the Earth's a ball or you fall off of it. So it's just a theory to explain how the Earth even could be a ball. And the number for gravity is 6.666666. What a joke. What another coincidence. The truth is these guys don't like you. They're Luciferians in their own words. You don't make it to the 33rd degree. If you look behind me, it says 33 degrees. Supreme Council of 33 degrees, right? They have a Supreme Council. And you have to actually be voted on and allowed into the 33rd degree to replace someone else. So you get up to 32, and if you didn't pass the test, they don't vote on you. They give you access to the library, but you have to go figure out what the truth is. And the truth is the Earth's a geocentric stationary plane. The truth is that they worship Nimrod. The truth is that they're trying to pull out a new world order. You think the whole world shut down on the same day this year as a coincidence? You guys think that's a coincidence? On the back of your dollar bill, your little Illuminati paper rectangle, notes, debt reserve notes, you know what it says? It says New World Order in Latin on the back of your dollar that you use. New World Order in Latin, and it says favors are undertakings. Who favors his undertakings? Well, it tells you that on the dollar too. God is the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. You guys think it's just an ambiguous term to mean creator. No, it's a literal Babylon deity. That's who they worship. And you might think that sounds crazy. What they think is they think that people are incredibly dumb if they actually believe in atheism. And I chose my words carefully there. Believe in atheism. It's a blind belief. It's a religion, ironically.
All right, we might have to charge.
Borrow my phone? Yeah, I just need to call because my phone is in my Uber ride and I had to go get it. I really appreciate that.
What's up, guys? I'll be doing non-religious scripture study at 11:11 a.m. with Karen B. and later with WitsitGetsIt. Nice. Thank you, Cami. How's everyone doing? Thank you for support. All the donations on PayPal or definitely on Cash App, I'll read off in a second. Much love, bro. Great work, Austin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See how people are trying to intimidate me away from speaking the truth? We've had 3 people come up here and try to tell me to stop and threaten to call the cops. And they told me they've already talked to the cops. The cops know they can't stop me. What a joke. You are great, bro. Thanks. Anything y'all want me to tell them about the Masons? You're an inspiration. Sweet. Thank you for the support. God bless, brother. Much love, dude. the leaf blower was literally louder than you. I don't know about that. They say they can hear me all the way down the block. I think they might be a little dramatic though. Let me make sure it's charging. It is, perfect. Thank you, Christopher. Let the wind die down for a second. I'm gonna get a drink of water, I'll be right back.
I used to work at the building. Yeah, I was just You're crazy, though. I don't gotta wear that here. Huh? That's bad for you. I mean, I honestly don't care one way or the other. Make them wear it first. Sucks. Yeah, it sucks, man. Yeah, it's not good for men. They're just trying to get us to take over. I knew a bunch of Freemasons. I think it's 33. Yeah, 33 for the road.
Don't worry guys, I'll give you a tour of this place. So this place is built by the Freemasons. They call themselves Luciferians in their own literature. Albert Pike, the only Confederate soldier to have a statue outside in Washington, D.C., was a 33rd degree Mason. And in his literature, he tells you that the earth is the center of everything, it doesn't move, and that it's flat. He also tells you that they're Luciferians. They say that they're going to orchestrate 3 major world wars. We've had 2 of them. They fit to a T. The third one is supposedly going to be between Islam and Zionism. And that they're going to get the Christian public, quote unquote, of the United States to support the Zionists. And that at the end of this war, they will officially do away with Christianity and atheism and bring the Luciferian doctrine out into the open. This is what they say in their own words. Well, they successfully orchestrated the first 2 wars to a T, so I probably wouldn't underestimate them. They're just the smartest, quote unquote, most rich, powerful people in the world. This building behind me cost millions of dollars to build. These people aren't playing around. They also spent about $1 million to build something called the Georgia Guidestones. Well, the first rule on the Georgia Guidestones is Guidestones to a new age of reason. It's for their new world order, which is on the back of your dollar in Latin. The first rule is maintain humanity's population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. They say there's over 8 billion people on the earth. How do you get to under 500 million? Maybe the last year is starting to make a little more sense to you now. So they made you be scared of the air. They took over. They used the word lockdown. I thought this was supposed to be a free country, quote unquote. How is it that we are using prison terms now? How do we go into lockdown? What does that even mean? We're not in prison. We went into lockdown and everyone complied. We had curfews. I'm not 12 years old anymore. I don't have curfews, bruh. Apparently everyone else just agreed to the curfews though. So effectively the government has shown you that they can take over, but not of any of their own power. It's because you let them do it. The truth is the Masons know what the earth is. They know it's a geocentric stationary plane. They cast a lie onto the earth to weed out the people that aren't smart enough to see through it. One of the lies is atheism. You're not allowed to be a Mason if you're an atheist. They consider that the dumbest ideology that exists. So what they did was they told you you're a tiny speck of dust in the ever-expanding universe. They told you we know exactly how big the earth is and that there's nothing left to explore. But in case you didn't believe it or maybe wanted to go see it for yourself, they made that illegal. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. Every single major world superpower has agreed that you're not allowed to freely travel the Antarctic region. It's called, you're not allowed to go past what's called the 60th south latitude. Sorry, I didn't realize you're on the phone, bro.
Oh no, it's all good, bro.
You're not allowed to go past the 60th south latitude. That means Russia, America, they all agree. I thought they were enemies. What happened to that? Well, they all agree you're not allowed to travel the earth and figure out what it is. Of course, if you could circumnavigate the earth north to south, that would prove it's a sphere. You come over an ice cap called Antarctica and you pop back up on the other side. It's literally illegal to even try to do that. You will be intercepted, not given due process. It's against the law and the world's militaries will intercept you. People have actually tried. You should ask yourself, why is it that these people have told themselves that they have more power than you and they can actually take a God-given right, even though God's a Babylonian deity, fortune his luck, his name is Yah, a creator-given right to freely travel the earth. How do these psychopaths that play dress up in the dark and do all kinds of rituals get to tell us what we're allowed to do? Isn't this getting a little weird? I thought that Russia and America were enemies. I thought China and America were enemies. Well, they agreed in the 50s, 1 year within the founding of NASA, that you're not allowed to go there. You're also not allowed to go within 500 miles of each direction of the center. This is one of the things that 33 degrees represents, is the center. Use a compass, it goes to 32 degrees. The 33rd degree is missing. It's representative of the center, the pillar in the center. So they have their two pillars, their Gnostic pillars. And if you look at magnetism, it combines with the central one. That would supposedly be what they would call a stairway to heaven, or take you all the way up. There's something very special in the center, and they don't let you go there. I don't know exactly what it is, I haven't been there. I'll stick with empirical evidence. What I do know is the Earth's not a spinning ball in a vacuum, and that's dumb. And of course, they're obsessed with the number 666. They're admittedly Luciferians. So check this out. You think there's a spinning ball, and I'll give you $100 cash if you can answer 3 basic questions about it. No one's got the money yet because no one knows anything about the globe Earth. I'm supposedly dumb for not believing it. It's like someone telling me they believe in the Bible, but they haven't read Genesis yet. I don't really care. So anyway, let's see how many times 666 pops up in this story. Probably just a coincidence. Let's count them. Supposedly the circumference of the Earth in nautical miles is 21,600. That's 6 times 6 times 600. Supposedly the curvature rate of the Earth is 8 inches per mile squared. That's 0.666 feet per mile squared. Supposedly we're on a 66.6 degree axial tilt. Supposedly we're going around the sun 66,600 miles per hour. Apparently the diameter of the moon is 2160, 6 times 6 times 60. So what they did was they threw their stamp all over it, so they had to put the truth in plain sight, but they knew no one would put it together. No 33rd degree Freemason thinks the Earth's a ball. You literally aren't allowed to be a 33rd degree if you don't know the Earth is flat. Sorry, I got distracted by the pentagram wearers that people call police officers. Alright, so the truth is that if the Earth's not a spinning ball, what is it? Well, it's geocentric. That means the center of everything. They say heliocentric. This is because they're sun worshippers. The Statue of Liberty is actually a Helios statue. If you want to, jump on your dumb phone and Google it. Google Helios, and then look at a picture of a Helios statue next to the Statue of Liberty. They're identical. They are sun worshippers. That's why they told you that we go around the sun. Just to show you in plain sight that it's all about the sun. Everything's central to the sun. It's all about the sun. They worship the sun. Okay? And that's why I said it's 66,600 miles per hour around the sun, because they're Luciferians. They believe that this is the collective intellect and reason and the embodiment of enlightenment, the sun. This is what they say in their own literature. I've read their literature. Most Masons don't even read literature. That's why most of them don't know what's going on. That's why most people think that they're just a charitable organization to try to help people out. It gives them a guise. It gives them a cover. It gives them a cloak. Right? You actually have to pass the test to become a 33rd degree. You go up to 32, you top out, they have to vote on you and bring you in. And you don't make it unless you found out what the truth is, and it's all in the libraries. You know what else they tell you in the libraries? That the ancient civilizations were very advanced. They weren't very archaic, and they had free energy. They literally have a religion. They believe what we call mythos to be true. Okay? They worship someone called Nimrod. Nimrod was dismembered into 14 pieces. Well, one of the pieces came up missing. That was his male anatomy. I hope you're following me. Okay, so that piece was missing. What they did was they founded America with 13 colonies, and then they made the capital, Washington, D.C., with a Washington Monument, which is a phallic symbol representing his male anatomy. America was literally founded in reverence to Nimrod by the Masons who revere and worship him. Nimrod was, of course, the king of Babylon. He built the Tower of Babel. And that's historical fact. That's not some fairy tale, and the Masons know it. So, of course, coincidentally, this Washington Monument is 555 feet and 5 inches tall, which is 6,666 inches. Probably just a coincidence, though. We had 13 original colonies representing the 13 pieces that they found. And then Isis supposedly replicated his male anatomy with the phallic symbol of gold to impregnate herself, because I guess she was into necrophilia or something. She's a weirdo. These people are literally psychopaths. I couldn't even make up a story as crazy as what they believe. They're psychos. They think that they control the world. They think that you're beneath them. The 33rd degree literally represents what the compass doesn't read, which is the center, and they don't let you go there. The center isn't the middle of some magic ball that defies physics, where it's way too hot for the metals to even be magnetic because of what's something called the Curry point, literally where they lose their magnetic capabilities. They're just trolling you. Harvard, Yale, Stanford still can't explain the magnetic field on globe Earth. It can't be explained. The Earth's not a globe. It's stupid. Fluid statics necessitates water finds its level. How could 70% of a ball be level? That's why you put fluid in levels. And what you guys want to say is gravity. People are so arrogant, they actually think that they can just remember the word gravity as their cop-out, effectively their deity. Then that must mean the flat earth are stupid, so they can protect their cognitus. cognitive dissonance, where you hold two simultaneous ideas that contradict one another. It causes you to shut down and then just dismiss things, right? So the truth is, gravity is just a theory. It has no evidence. Most people think gravity is mass attracting mass if they even know that much about the religion. That was superseded in 1915 by Einstein in physics, the theory of relativity that says that due to the displacement of mass, there's a gravity well, because gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space and time. The theory of relativity, when applied to the universe, is off by 95%. It's not 95% right, it's off by 95%. This is called dark matter and dark energy. They can't even mathematically propose this model yet as a theory. They can't even mathematically propose it theoretically yet. But I'm crazy for not blindly believing in it because they showed me cartoons whenever I was. The truth is, you guys don't need them to think for you. Think for yourself, go test it. We might get harassed here. Apparently no one in the city ever uses their First Amendment. People are spiraling.
Okay. Do you do Q&A? Yeah? Oh, you got some questions, bro? You got some questions? Another one. That's a loud sound. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do anything about the street. The gamers are dropping like flies, yeah. I'll just read your chats on my other phone.
Yeah, I'm trying to be intimidated from speaking and using my First Amendment 3 times a day. Apparently this is the capital of a free country where they just throw out the First Amendment. No big deal.
What do people typically do to you?
They just come up and harass me and try and tell me I have to stop or they're going to call the cops.
Really?
Yeah.
What in the world?
They're crazy, bro. The cops know that I have a First Amendment, though. And they actually know they need to calibrate their decibel if they're about to come over here. You need to calibrate your decibel where you're free to come over here. I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, this is a public space. You're designated by a penal code to be here.
Exactly. We're so incredibly proud of you. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you, bro. Bob the Legend. Shout out to Globe Busters. Much love, bro. Can you do an inside tour? Yeah, they have certain times. One of them was 3:30. No one came. I don't know, unless they were already in there, but I was really interested in hearing them tell me fairy tales. How many people were there? Just hit or miss. People were just walking by. Keep filming if so. Yeah, of course I'm gonna film them. They're public servants. But dude, they know I have a First Amendment and that they have to actually have it. You can walk through if you want, bro. Oh, I'll give you a free tour of this place if you want it. It's getting reiterative because new people come, you know? I don't know what else to do. 33 degrees. It's the missing degree of the center. What a cool story. Just a coincidence. Crazy Egyptian symbols. Yeah, if you actually get a Masonic Bible, it will actually, it'll have Egyptian mythology throughout the entire bottom of it. Or the entire end of it has Egyptian mythology. So, that's weird. Why would there be Egyptian mythology in a Bible? And again, you're not allowed to be an atheist and a Freemason. Austin, by blessing you, it confirmed the eyes indeed, my Abba, to see you walk in the path bearing your cross is beautiful. Thank you very much for the kind words, brother. You guys are getting chats read out over the streets of DC. That's what I'm talking about. Are you in Rome? Yeah, practically. Modern Rome. Actually, I think this place was originally called like Rowe, Maryland. That's not weird. I have a speculation DC stands for Divine Council. They're waiting for him to come back. I'm just saying though. So yeah, every single one of the major buildings in this city were built by Freemasons. Almost all the statues are of Freemasons. And no one ever thinks about what this place is. And to be honest, if you've never heard this information or read the literature, it's really hard to tell, because on the outside, they donate tons of money to charity. Most of the people don't actually know most of the truths about Freemasonry. This is why no one knows what they're really up to. It's basically a cult inside of a cult. To me, the fact that you play dress up in the dark as grown men is super weird. I think that kind of makes you a weirdo. But one thing that the the Freemasons know is that the Earth is not a spinning ball in a vacuum. Every 33rd degree that ever wrote a book said the Earth was a geocentric stationary plane. The Earth is flat. When you see water, it finds its level. It's flat. You can trust your senses. Whenever you walk on the ground and you don't feel the Earth moving, it's because it's not moving. Whenever you look in the sky and stuff moves, it's because the stuff in the sky is moving. What they would have you believe is that when you see the sun move away from you and set, it's actually sitting still. You're just falling backwards 1,000 miles an hour. I thought I was the conspiracy theorist. That's the craziest story I've ever heard. It gets even worse than this though. You can actually test the Earth and see if it's flat or not. You don't have to believe either way. You can prove it. That's why we're forcibly censored and admitted to be censored in Congress. The only thing you will find if you Google Flat Earth is the Flat Earth Society. That is misinformation. It doesn't have one real flat earther in it. They tell you that we think that the Earth is a disk in a solar system shooting up 9.8 meters per second squared. No real flat earther thinks that. That's dumb. The Earth doesn't move. It's underneath everything, effectively the basement, the bottom floor. The sky moves over top of us. Quote-unquote planets are just wandering stars. That's what the etymology of planet means. I document them all the time. They are not solid. They are not static, which means still. They constantly move. They actually give the characteristics of being encompassed in a fluid-like medium. They look just like the other stars. They just move a little bit different. And guess what all the stars do, including even the planets? They move east to west. Every single star moves east to west and resets back where it started around the central point, which is the North Star Polaris for all recordable history. The Earth is the center of everything. You're not a tiny speck of dust with other planets, and there are other inhabitable planets thousands of light years away. This is all pseudoscience to make you feel insignificant. The people end up absorbing this truth, but only whenever they're ready to deceive you. And so you need to wake up before it's too late. They are conditioning you for the mark of the beast. That is why they've made you identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade for about a year, and they scan your wrist and forehead when you go in places. If you think that's just a coincidence, you sound like a coincidence theorist. They're scanning your wrist and your forehead. I know a lot of you may not be familiar with the prophecy that was written thousands of years ago, but it tells us that in the end there will be the mark of the beast, and you must take it to buy, sell, or trade, and that it will be on your wrist and forehead. They're scanning your wrist, they're scanning your forehead, and they're telling you to identify yourself physically to buy, sell, and trade. So you can get used to the fact that the only way you can go in a store and buy something is if you comply, if you're in the in crowd, if you're with a certain group of people that follow the rules so that you can buy things. And you guys have gotten used to it for about a year now, to where when they say you don't even have to do it anymore, you guys still walk around doing it anyway. Just because it's become normal. This is why this has happened for a year. It is to desensitize you to the takeover. They signed the death warrant of the dollar. I don't know if you guys know how basic economics works, but you don't get to print trillions and trillions of dollars in 1 year with nothing to back it and then just expect it all to work out. It's called inflation. That's why prices are going up. No, it's not because Trump was good, Biden bad. That's stupid. They're on the same team. Okay? The prices would be going up if Trump was here too. That's why Trump's not there. Because they can't say Trump's a hero if he's here while the prices go up. I really don't like to delve into politics too much because it's just a distraction. It's two wings to the same bird. Every single U.S. president ever has been related and ties back to English royalty. You can look it up. So I thought we broke away from English royalty. Why do all the presidents of America all tie back to English royalty? Even Obama. This is kind of weird, huh? Well, guess what else they all are? Freemasons. Every single one of them. Jesuit order, Freemasonry, tomato, tomato. They're all Luciferians. You have the top tier of the Jesuits, you have the top tier of Masonry, and they're all in the same group together. They are Luciferians. They believe that collectively they are Lucifer, that is intellect and reason, and the embodiment of enlightenment is the sun. So they worship the sun. And this is why they told you that you go around the sun in a heliocentric model, and this is why the Statue of Liberty, the Helio statue, it's identical to one. You can look it up. They're sun worshippers. The Statue of Liberty isn't just some random girl, guy, whatever it's supposed to be, that's representing freedom. It's a Helio statue. See, they know what the earth is, and they know that they can lie to you, and you won't know what it is. They say that atheism is the stupidest ideology that exists. You can't even be a Freemason if you're an atheist. These are the most powerful, most rich people in the world. Bar none. Trillionaires. You couldn't even put a number on their wealth because they actually have tangible wealth. They have gold and silver and lands. Okay, they know what real wealth is. And they also know what the earth is. You cannot be 33rd degree if you don't know what the earth is. Now some people will say, what's it even matter? What's it matter? Either you're a tiny speck of dust that goes around this ever-expanding universe that randomly came from nothing, or you're the center of everything, and that means someone had to put it here. It sounds like it does matter. That's a big difference. What you do with that truth is on you. A lot of people will say, no, there's no way the earth is flat. This is too crazy. Why would they even lie about that? That's another cog-dis response. Again, just an attempt to try to dismiss it because it makes you uncomfortable. Why would they lie about it? Well, I don't know. We give NASA $60 million a day, but the government would never lie for money, so we'll put that one aside. They don't let you travel past the 60th south latitude. Okay, well, the government would never lie to hide land and resources, though. The government never does anything with lies to get land and resources. We'll put that one aside. Again, you think you're a tiny speck of dust in an ever-expanding universe. You don't even know it was created yet. Okay, they made most of the world, or at least attempted to make most of the world, atheist and agnostic, so that when they brought out their Luciferianism for the New World Order in the end, it would be effective. They had to empty you out spiritually so they could fill you. That's why when you walk around with apathy and nihilism and materialistic worldviews, thinking that it makes you smart or woke, they think that you're actually the opposite of this. You can't even be a Freemason if you're an atheist. They literally won't let you in. You have to acknowledge a grand architect, a supreme being. You have to, or they don't let you in. But they don't care how you actually acknowledge it or how you express it. You just can't be an atheist. And then as you move up the ranks, you find out that they're actually Luciferians. They believe that Lucifer is the grand architect. That's one of the things that the G stands for.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question. Just as for clarification.
Yeah.
So, what is it? So you keep talking about like they don't want you to be atheist and stuff like that. I'm completely aware of that. Do you have a problem with them not wanting atheists? Because I also see that you have the Yahweh on your hat. So like, can you clarify that a bit more?
Sure.
Stance?
Yeah, like to specify what I'm saying is, I know the Creator, and the descriptions are true. Yehovah. People say Yahweh. That tracks back to Jupiter, but what I'm saying is they don't let you be a Mason unless you're atheist, but they wanted to see how many people would fall for atheism. So they told you the story of this heliocentric model and evolution and Big Bang because they wanted to see how many people would fall for atheism because they consider atheism to be the stupidest ideology that exists. So they're trying to weed out those not as smart people as they would say it. I obviously don't think of people like statistics like that, but yeah, I know that there's a creator, the scriptures are true. You're not allowed to be a Freemason if you're an atheist, and like they just wanted to see how many people they could get in the general population to fall for atheism. It's just a giant troll.
Thank you.
So no, the Earth is not a magic spinning cartoon ball that defies physics. The Earth is flat, it doesn't move, the sky moves over top of us, and there is something containing the pressure. It's called a firmament. That's the only way that you can breathe oxygen because it would escape into a vacuum without a physical barrier. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. NASA lied. They gave you cartoons. But we have pictures of Earth from space. No, actually, according to NASA's own website, they're not real pictures, they're cartoons. Here's a verbatim quote from nasa.gov. You can Google it yourself on your dumb phone. Robert Simmons, Blue Marble, NASA.gov. They say that they take high altitude photographs, they then stitch it on a flat map surface, wrap it around the ball, bring an artist in to do an artist rendition to match what the observer expects it to look like. Actually, Robert Simmons' direct quote is, "Of course it's photoshopped, it has to be." So apparently he went to the moon in 1969 and went back and forth through radiation belts, but now we can't go back because we accidentally destroyed the technology. According to Don Pettit, I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we destroyed that technology and it's a painful process to build it back. What? You're saying you don't have the technology you had in 1969 as I live stream on an iPhone 12 Pro that has more processing capability than a warehouse of computers in 1969? What a joke. So I'm going to give everyone a history lesson. I know a lot of people don't know this. So what we did is something called Operation High Jump. We explored the Antarctic regions, this military documents, all this is declassified and verifiable. So then we went to past the 60th south latitude, explored it, and they found out what was there. And then they signed the Antarctic Treaty a few years later, which says that no one's allowed to privately explore that area. Every country in the world has agreed on this. Every single geopolitical adversary has agreed that you are not allowed to go explore it. They founded NASA within 1 year of this Antarctic Treaty. All of this was done within a decade. They went out there, they found out what was there, they said that you can't go there, and then they said, hey, look at space. Look at this fairy tale about space. Don't worry about going out and traveling the Earth anymore, because they found out what was there. So how did we supposedly go to space, this medium that literally couldn't exist because it's stupid and defies physics? Well, we brought Nazis over here. Again, all of this is declassified. It's called Operation Paperclip. We brought Nazi scientists over here. One of them was an SS officer. So no, not just some innocent scientist that didn't do anything wrong, which is what your cognitus wants to say as an excuse to try to justify the treason of the U.S. government. The fact is he was an SS officer. He was in charge. He had tons of blood on his hands. His name was Wernher von Braun. They put him in charge of space exploration. Funny enough that whenever he died, on his tombstone, he had Psalm 19:1, which says that the firmament shows the handiwork of the Creator. So on his deathbed, he let it out that you can't go to space. There's something called the firmament that prevents it. This is Psalms 19:1 on Wernher von Braun's own tombstone, the guy that supposedly got us to space, the SS officer Nazi that was in charge of the space exploration. Something else that he did in his spare time was he wrote science fiction novels. One of the main characters' name in this science fiction novel he wrote was Elon. And guess what Elon did in the book he wrote in the 50s? He founded the first civilization on Mars. You fast forward 70 years later, we have a guy named Elon Musk that's supposedly about to found a civilization on Mars. You guys think that's a coincidence? You sound like a coincidence theorist. Wernher von Braun knew what the Earth was, and he was used to cast a troll onto the American people, and people still haven't caught up to it. You think they went to the moon in '69, but they just can't go back? That doesn't even make any sense. Suppose we have rovers on Mars, but we can't go back to the moon yet? It's too dangerous. If you still think we went to the moon, you're very far behind. 1 in 3 Americans at the time didn't believe the moon landing. Most people went along with it because supposedly how we beat Russia. Oh, we beat Russia. 1 in 3 Americans didn't believe in the moon landing at the time. And now the numbers may be even the same. We haven't woke up any more than they were at the very moment that they lied to them. They knew they could lie back then because it was black and white television and people just believed whatever was on like one of the 3 channels. Well, now we have 4K. Good luck trying to lie. So they can't fake it again. That's why they haven't. That's why they tell you all kinds of fairy tales about leaving drones on Mars and just pseudoscientific fairy tales. We put a convertible up in a vacuum. That way you won't that we didn't go to the moon. We didn't go to the moon, that's a big issue for them. That's supposedly the one real picture of the Earth in entirety from space. Of course, there's been footage leaked that shows that they were actually just a little bit above the Earth. It's a circular window to make it look like that. It's actually on footage, it leaked. So how do we prove we went to the moon? Well, there's something called telemetry data that actually records all of the logistics of the trip, every single aspect of the technical data. Well, under their own admission, they lost all of the telemetry data, and whatever they didn't lose, they destroyed it. They admit this. They also claim that we brought moon rocks back. We gave the moon rocks to different countries. Guess what they did? They tested the rocks and found out they were actually petrified wood. Google Holland petrified wood moon rock from NASA. So why did we have to give them fake moon rocks if they really had real moon rocks? Why do we have to lose all the telemetry data if we've actually been there? Why can't we go back if we went there in '69? Why do we destroy the technology if it was the biggest leap of technology in the history of mankind, where we had the new frontier of space? See, the truth is they can't go to space because it couldn't exist as it's defined. The Earth would blow your mind, right? Because they hide the center of it and they hide the outside of it. It's beautiful. It has a firmament. Electromagnetic field encompasses us. This is the only way that we exist, right? Because there has to be something that contains the oxygen that you breathe. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. There's something over you containing it. The necessary antecedent for pressure is containment. You cannot have pressure sitting next to a near-perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. It's impossible. The pressure would fill the available space. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. So you cannot make a claim antithetical to natural scientific law and just expect us to blindly believe it because you showed us some cartoons. It's literally impossible. All empirical scientific evidence shows you that the antecedent to pressure is containment. Whenever you have a soda, it stays fresh because it's carbonated, because it has higher pressure. When you open it up, well, it loses the pressure because it migrates to the lower pressure around it. That's the second law of thermodynamics and a very simple illustration for you. If you don't keep it stilled, you don't have the pressure. And dude, the 14.7 psi is nowhere close to what they claim space is. They claim space is 10 to the negative 17 torr. You could never have pressure sitting next to that. All of the pressure on the Earth would effectively rush off of it and fill into the vacuum. So what they define space as can exist. You might ask yourself, why would they make up a lie so stupid where it's that blatantly obvious? Well, look how well it works. You guys still believe it and think I'm crazy for not believing it. But the reason that they did this was because they had to do this. Because they can't explain it even theoretically with math without assuming that there's nothing out there. They have to say that it's basically empty nothingness. Space being the idea of a privation, nothingness. This is the only way they could try to get the math to work. It's called the theory of relativity. It says that gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space and time. The problem with the theory of relativity is the math still doesn't work. It's off by 95%. It was actually debunked in the 50s by something called the galaxy rotational speeds. So if you assume the distances that they're saying are true, it still doesn't work. If you assume the fairy tale they say, they still can't explain it, not even mathematically. It's a joke. There's no scientific evidence for gravity. I guess that butterflies are just gravity proof. I guess helium balloons are gravity proof. What a cool story.
Oh, did this die? Oh, it's dead. Oh, but there's a USB in here.
16, 17, something.
You good, brother?
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry.
What's up, everybody? It is back. What, did it go down or something?
Did it?
What happened with the picture? I don't know. They froze your live stream. Yeah, they always do that.
Sorry, they attack my streams on salt.
I need to go get that charger out of the truck. You know, the one that plugged into this? Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna chat with you guys for a second.
Alright. The video was froze, yeah. They always attack my streams, dude. The audio is so good, cool. Some lady stole the show, what do you want? Mine was stuck on the backpacking woman for a while. Oh, really? Interesting. Rocking as always, Crushing Brother, thank you very much. Austin, where are you? I'm in front of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry Museum or Library, the Supreme Council of 33 degrees. What I'll do in a second is I'll take this off and I'll go show you some of it up close and I'll put it back on. I'll just do that right now. They thought if they parked right there, I'd get like nervous or something. What a joke.
But the guy walked away, so it's like, it's just a police car.
Yeah. But like I've had like 3 or 4 people telling me. So I think that, well, I don't know. Yeah, some people get nervous, I guess. They think, he probably doesn't care. What city? Washington, D.C. I'm gonna walk on this thing. It doesn't say I can't. You're about to get a close-up, brother. Look how weird this is. Okay, that's on both sides. Awesome craftsmanship, yeah. Well, that's what masonry is all about. All right, you guys saw it. I bet you won't get a picture like that anywhere else. Sorry if it's kind of not stable. Never date a chick with hands like that. I would say it's probably good advice. Here you go with the sun again. All right. The temple of the Supreme Council of the 33rd and last degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish rites of Freemasonry for the southern, I'm trying to get it to where, for the southern jurisdiction of the United States, erected to, who is this erected to, Jack? Erected to God. The Babylonian deity, erected to God and dedicated to the service of humanity. Salve Frater. Interesting. Okay. I'll come over here to show you. This is the same thing on the other side. So, this place is super creepy. I'll get a little bit further away and I'll zoom in for you guys. Oh, look at the Egyptian symbology everywhere. What a joke. And then the sun coming out, of course. You can see the sun. Tartaria, maybe. It's hard to tell, to be honest. All right, I'm gonna go sit you down. No, it's getting like kind of not stable. It says it was built in 1733, allegedly. I'll show you guys the PA system too. Don't say I never did nothing for you guys. People were complaining about the PA system, so I got a new one. Someone donated 100 towards it, so I just dropped the other 250 on it. Here it is though, it's a pretty pimp.
It's been a journey, to say the least. It's like really your biggest
Yeah. So we got the this hooked up on there. In a World TV. I want to show you that my love is for real. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about playing my my song through the speakers. Alright, it's not charging. Alright, so we got 12%. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and let it get real low so this thing can charge, and then I'll plug it up and hopefully we can keep it pushing. Let the wind die down a little bit and let me grab a drink of water. Yeah, play your song through the speakers, that would be awesome. See if I can. I should have opened up the stream like we'd always do with this song. I forgot.
Bluetooth connected.
Uh-oh. All right, yeah, I'm gonna play the music video time. That's pretty funny. I'm gonna play the song, drink some water, and then I'll get back on the mic. Oh, what up, guys?
Prove the globe.
Is there a glober in here that claims I'm stupid but watches me rant on camera? That's weird.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You guys have a good one. Have a good one, brother.
All right, we're gonna get back on the mic. Austin Mad always yelling at the mic. Disconnected.
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth error.
Yeah.
So much better.
I'm gonna go back to the chat. So, some of you may wonder, this guy sitting out front of the Mason's temple with a speaker. What a weirdo. Well, the truth is the weirdos built this temple, and they actually practice little dress-up rituals in the dark, and they run most of the world's countries, if not all of them. This entire city was built by Freemasons, and you're not allowed to be in the 33rd degree unless you're voted upon and brought into that degree. If you look here, it says the Supreme Council of the 33 degrees. Okay, so you make it up to 32 by doing the rituals and retaining the information. You must be voted on to get to the 33rd degree. So what you have to do to get voted on is actually realize some of the big truths. They give you access to their library, but they don't tell you the truth. They want to see if you can figure it out. If not, then you're just one of the Masons that give them a disguise, a cloak. Well, one of the big truths you have to realize that's in their own library is that the Earth is actually flat. You guys think that's crazy. That means that they were successful. See, because what's really crazy is that you're walking around not feeling the Earth moving right now, but they told you that it's actually spinning 1,000 miles an hour while it's spinning around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. The truth is the Earth doesn't move. The sky moves over top of it, just like you observe. So they had to tell you a lie where you have to believe the opposite of everything you observe so they can justify to themselves that you're actually stupid enough to be lied to. It's very simple. It's called the natural law of attraction. They have to make sure that you trick yourself. You cannot be a 33rd degree Freemason unless you know the Earth is a geocentric stationary plane. G stands for many things inside of their logo, but one of them is geometria. This is the measurement of the Earth. That's why in the logo it has a square and a compass. This is how you would measure a flat Earth. Of course, the only way we've ever measured any portion of the Earth is assuming it's flat. It's called plane survey data, right? So you drop what's called a plumb line, which is vertical to the assumed horizontal plane of the Earth, and then you measure in small increments of the flat Earth. Literally, the Earth has never been measured being a globe. Actually, I've been trying to find out if the Earth is a globe and measure it for numerous years now, and guess what? It's not curving anywhere. So if the surface of the Earth isn't curving anywhere, what is it? Take all the time you need. If the surface of the Earth isn't curving anywhere, what is it? If 70% of the Earth is ocean and fluid statics necessitates water always finds its level, how is 70% of a ball level? And this is actually not a belief. You blindly believe in cartoons shown to you by NASA. You sound like a child, basically. You just believe in cartoons. So supposedly, the Earth has a circumference of 24,901 miles and a radius of 3,959 miles. That means it has to bend it 8 inches per mile squared up to 1,000 miles. This is the Pythagorean theorem, the parabolic trajectory of the terra firma itself. I guess technically it wouldn't be a trajectory. But the Earth actually doesn't curve at this rate. If the Earth is actually the ball with the size they claim, you have to curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Right, I know not everyone likes math, so I'll break it down. The square root of 1 is 1. Okay, so 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, you have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 miles away. We have an observation 1 foot off the surface of the Earth off the coast of Cali where we see the horizon over 10 miles away. This would require the radius of the Earth to be 264,000 miles, over 250,000 miles. They claim it's under 4,000. We have an observation where it had to be over 250,000 miles. We have falsified the radius, and not just in one location. The Earth is flat every single place that we test it. There are tens and millions of us all over the Earth. You wouldn't know that, though, because it's censored, and they actually admitted in Congress that they censor flat Earth. I thought this was a free country. I thought we had the First Amendment. The First Amendment says that we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of press. But apparently when it comes to flat Earth, that's the exception. That's dangerous misinformation. Because it's so dangerous for you to not think you're a tiny speck of dust spinning around in a vacuum where an asteroid might hit you, and everything came from nothing, and then lightning struck primordial soup, and then rocks turned into humans eventually because they turned into fish that were like, you know what, I want to grow some feet now, let's jump out of this water. And they turned into rodents. They actually say that we came from rats, and then the rodents turned into apes that turned into humans. It's such dangerous misinformation that you may think there's a creator that made you and that you're special. Because if the Earth is geocentric, which it literally provably is, that means it's the center of everything, and it doesn't move, and everything in the sky moves around us, centralized to the North Star, Polaris, right over the center of the surface of the Earth. Well, if the Earth is stationary in the center of everything, that means it had to be placed there. The necessary antecedent to creation is a creator. Antecedent is just a fancy word for requirement. So it is required that this place was designed because it is truly not moving. All the Masons know this. Now, let me fix that statement. Not all the Masons know this. All the 33rd degree Masons know this. You won't be allowed to be a 33rd degree Mason if you don't put this together. But they give you access to the library. The library tells you what the Earth is, but most of them don't even read anything in the library. So they don't find out. It's effectively an IQ test. That's what the Masonic Brotherhood is. And they want to see if you'll pass the test. If you don't, then you just stay at 32 tops. You have to get voted on and brought into the 33rd degree to replace someone else. The only way that you will be voted on is if you find out these truths. Okay, another one of the truths is that their ideology is actually Luciferianism. They admit this. This is actually a perfect city to explain this. Albert Pike is the one Confederate soldier with a statue outside in the city. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. In his literature, he explains that they are Luciferians and that the Earth is the geocentric stationary planet. This guy has a statue in the city. This entire city was built by Masons. Okay? This building behind me cost millions of dollars. These are the most powerful, wealthy people in the world. So we shouldn't revere them. And the truth is, you're not allowed to be a Mason if you're an atheist. Okay? It's literally, you're not even allowed in the group if you're an atheist. So what they've done is they told you a lie to try to promote atheism to see how many people fall for it, because according to them, atheism is the dumbest ideology that exists. They're trying to weed people out on the spectrum of intellect. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're stupid if you fell for it. We've been bombarded with lies and propaganda since we were children. I just want you to wake up. These are for those with ears to hear, okay? We're in a dangerous time of American history. The government has decided to take over the last year and put us in lockdown. That's a prison term. Lockdown is a prison term. And everyone just accepted that we were in lockdown. Everyone just accepted that we have curfews. We don't have curfews. This is America. I'm not 12 years old anymore. I don't have a curfew. The government doesn't give me curfews. The government doesn't tell me I'm in lockdown. This isn't a prison. This is supposed to be a free country. And you know, the sad part is, they were successful, and not because of their power, but because we allowed it. And now here's the real red pill. Not everyone here is open-minded enough to even accept this. They're conditioning you for the mark of the beast. This is a prophecy from thousands of years ago. The same year the entire world shut down overnight at the same time is the same year they told you to identify yourself, to buy, sell, and trade with a physical marker that prohibits oxygen. They are also scanning your wrist and forehead this year. You think that's just a coincidence? That they're getting you used to getting scanned on your wrist and forehead? They've gotten you used to walking into stores like a robot and getting scanned on your wrist and your forehead the same year the whole world shut down on cue together and put you in quote-unquote lockdown and told you to identify yourself to buy, sell, and trade. This is because they're getting you used to not being able to buy things unless you're a part of the group of people that were compliant with the orders. The ultimate order will be that you have to take a mark. You have to take an identifier. What a coincidence that they're rolling out something they're saying that you have to take right now. I can't get specific because of this super free country. I actually will terminate my YouTube channel if I tell you the specifics. I can't even read a medical journal online anymore. That's how free this country is. So the truth is, you don't need the government. The truth is that there is a creator and he loves you and you're special. You have a spirit. Science can't even explain intuition or dreams or astral projection. So what happened to, oh, science, oh, there's no creator, I'm an atheist. Really? Because science can't even explain the metaphysical facts of this world. And again, you're not allowed to be in Freemasonry, which is the most powerful group of people in the world, if you're an atheist. They don't allow you in. You're not allowed if you're an atheist. You don't make the IQ cutoff. Isn't that interesting? And I just use IQ for intents and purposes. IQs are not that important, and they're kind of a little trick as well. They do test processing speed and pattern recognition, so they're not just useless entirely, but your worth is not tied up in some number based on a test, right? But anyway, the truth of the matter is, I've been offering $100 cash to anybody that can answer 3 basic questions about the globe Earth. I could make it $1,000, and you people still wouldn't get it right. And it's not like I'm trying to make fun of you or say I'm smarter than you or anything like that. Far from it. I used to think that when I heard the Earth was flat, people thought the Earth was flat. I thought it was the dumbest thing I had ever heard in my entire life. I was like, how have we regressed so much as a human civilization that we have people that still think the Earth is flat? That is the most archaic nonsense I've ever heard in my life. But then I went and researched it because I am open-minded. I knew that the government lies about a lot. What's it going to hurt to look into this? At the least it's going to be entertaining. You know what I found out? The Earth actually is flat. And you know how I know that? Because I've tested it for 5 years. I measured the Earth. I make long distance observations. It has to curve at a certain rate. So let me give you layman terms example. If you stand on the end of a hill or a mound of dirt, you can't see through the mound of dirt to the other side. It physically obstructs your view. This is what the Earth has to do if it's a ball, and it has to do it at a certain rate because they claim a size. And the radius value is 3,959 miles. That means that it has to curve at 8 inches per mile squared up to 1,000 miles from the observer. It doesn't do this though. That means we have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That means 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, you should see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 miles away. No further than that. It's geometry. This is basic geometry, okay? And actually we have an observation 1 foot off the surface of the Earth where the horizon's over 10 miles away. This would require the radius value be 264,000 miles. We have an observation where the radius value would have to be over 250,000 miles. They claimed it's under 4,000 miles. But don't worry, you can throw out all empirical evidence and measurements because NASA went to the moon in 1969. They just can't go back again. Under their own admission, they can't go back. World-renowned astronaut named Don Pettit. Here's a direct quote. I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we destroyed that technology and it's a painful process to build it back. He invoked an emotion, pain. He said that they destroyed technology of the biggest leap in mankind history and that's why we can't go back. And it's too dangerous because there are radiation fields. We just got lucky when we went through there in 6 different trips back in the 60s and 70s. You cannot go to the moon. You cannot go to space. It cannot be what they say it is. They claim it's a near-perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. You cannot have pressure sitting next to a vacuum. This is literally impossible. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy will increase. Systems always spontaneously seek equilibrium. Pressure would fill the available space. I'll give you a simple illustration because some people just shut down when they hear like laws of physics. Okay, if you have a soda and you open it up, it goes psh. That's because it equalizes to the lower pressure around it. What keeps it fresh and carbonated is the siller, the containment, right? That allows the pressure to build up and keep it fresh. When you remove that container, it equalizes to the lower pressure around it. You cannot have the air pressure that you're breathing to survive without it being contained. This is a natural physical law. A natural law is not theoretical, it's not debatable, it has no exceptions. We didn't come up with it, we just knew it happened always and we documented it. The second law of thermodynamics necessitates pressure will fill the available space. High pressure migrates to low pressure. How could you have a pressurized system with 14.7 psi at the surface going up to being adjacent to a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr without something stopping it from filling the available space? You literally couldn't. And a lot of people just want to instinctively say the word gravity. Most of them didn't know it's what they should say, but I will tell you, according to your heliocentric religion, that is what you're supposed to say. And it is a religion. It's a belief system built upon the doctrine of men with no empirical evidence. All these atheists, coincidentally, they're the most religious people I know. And they don't know anything about the globe Earth. Right? I've offered $100 cash to anyone that can answer 3 basic questions. No one has gotten the money. I've even given them the first answer to the first question. I've even let entire groups of people try it at once. They can't get the answer right. This is not me taking shots at you. This is me making a point. Before you think that I'm crazy because I don't believe something you believe, you should at least know what it is that you believe and think I'm crazy for not believing. It's effectively like me going into church and someone telling me that the Bible's real, but that they never read Genesis. I don't really think I have to consider their opinion too seriously. The truth of the matter is that the Earth isn't moving, and it never has, and that the sky's reset for all recordable history. The Egyptian megalithic structures still line up with the stars that they built. We have 77 constellations. They're constant. That's why they're called that. We have a horizon. It's horizontal. That's why it's called that. It comes from the word horizontal. So what they say is, well, every time you see the Earth anywhere, it looks flat, but it's actually curving. Every time you walk around and you don't feel the Earth moving, it's actually spinning. Every time you see something moving in the sky, well, it's actually sitting still and it just looks like it's moving because the Earth is moving. They want you to believe the opposite of all of your senses. But every 33rd degree Mason that built this temple I'm sitting in front of, they know what the Earth is. You're not allowed to be a 33rd degree Mason without knowing what the Earth is. You have to be voted on. And every single 33rd degree Freemason that wrote any literature tells you that the Earth is flat. Most of you guys don't even know who the Masons are, much less read their actual literature, but I did. Don't worry, I'll help you out. Albert Pike, the only Confederate soldier to have a statue outside in this city, he was a 33rd degree Freemason.